What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Halftime Show NFL Roundtable. This week, y'all know we got the AFC East, and I'm joined by some great guests, man. These guys are, of course, covering the Jets, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Bills. Some of these people I know, some of these people, I've met through Twitter, but they all are great sports voices, man. I'm glad to have them here. I'm gonna start with my guy, man. From the sideline sports, man, John Shearer representing the Miami Dolphins. What's up, John?
Yeah, man. This is how we do it, man. Like, this is our year. The rest of these fools, they don't know what they're getting into. I mean, right here, health permitting, like these other teams. I mean, the Bills struggled with a third-string rookie quarterback in a playoff game at home. The Jets got a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers who's way past his prime. And the Patriots, they were starting Bailey Zappi last year. They're starting Mac Jones. They think D-Hop is going to change anything. Like, come on, Bill Belichick's like the worst GM in the league. Amazing head coach, terrible GM. Needs to be removed from that spot if you're a Patriots person. I have no idea what he thinks he's doing in that position. But amazing coach, he's Jerry Jones at the GM spot. Like,
yeah, that's a heck of an intro. And this is what y'all going to expect from John, man. I love it. But I got my guy Jay McMahon, met him on Twitter Spaces, man, a hell of a guy, man. Patriot represent the Pats. Y'all see the drip. Y'all see he got the old school Pats shirt on. So
yeah, it's the vintage, man. It's the vintage, yeah.
But he represent the Patriots, man. How's it going?
I mean, it's going good. I mean, and we're coming up to training camp about 3 weeks. I mean, we're going into a new season, and we got a new OC, Bill O'Brien, who's been with the team before. So I'm really excited about my team, man, because I mean, like, we had a bad season, but we still won 8 games last year. So I mean, like, we signed some guys, and so I mean, I'm feeling good.
For sure. Then we got my guy Damien, the GOAT, man, representing the Jets. What's going on, Damien?
Just like the Jets and the AFC East this year, silent.
Man, I don't know. I don't know if Damien with us. Hopefully he come back. But then I got my man Whittle 2K, man, representing Bills Mafia. Last but not least.
Daddy's home, guys. Daddy's home. Hi. Oh, man. How you kids doing? Daddy's home. I heard the Dolphins talking real spicy, Corlin. Let's get into it.
Man, so y'all know, but they're Damien. What's up, Damien?
My fault, man. Sorry, bro. I was having some connectivity issues, I think. But yeah, bro, I'm ready to get into it. I don't know what I missed so far. I didn't hear what you said.
No, it's good, man. We're just doing the intros, just introducing everybody. So again, like I said, y'all, this is the AFC South halftime show, or AFC East. I'm sorry, I said AFC South. AFC East halftime show, NFL Roundtable. We're gonna take y'all around the AFC East, man, talking Jets, Bills, Dolphins, and Patriots. But we're gonna get to these halftime adjustments, y'all. Y'all know how we start the show off if y'all are returning guests. We're going to start with the discount double jet, man. Aaron Rodgers is now the quarterback in New York. Damien, you feel like A-Rod puts the Jets over the top in this division, that maybe this young team can make a run and win this division outright?
Yes, I actually think that Rodgers is like the final piece that really like puts it all together. We had a decent season, I'd say, last year. It wasn't the best. We had some up and downs. We had quarterback injuries. We had poor quarterback play. And I feel like if we didn't have Mike White or Zach Wilson there, or Joe Flacco even there for the majority of the season, we win some games that, we don't lose. Like that Lions game was a real close one. That Vikings game was a real close one. Like a couple of those games, especially both of them Patriots games. And we beat the Bills with Zach Wilson. So I feel like we might have swept them with Zach or without Zach. You know what I'm saying? With Rodgers. So I mean, hey, I feel like it's a lot of different games that we lost because of poor quarterback play that we could have won and we could have made the playoffs. I mean, we won what 6, 7 games? I can't remember the exact amount.
It's like 7. I think
it was 7.
Y'all won more than that, didn't you?
No, I think it was 7. I think it was 7.
Was it 7? Okay.
Yeah, I know that, and we could have easily made the playoffs if we had a better quarterback. So I feel like, yeah, we definitely that's the final piece. The defense is coming back. We added some safety pieces on defense. We lost Chuck Clark, which was bad. That shit it really hurt. But we picked up Amos. We added some pieces on offense. The offensive line has gotten a little bit better. So, I mean, I feel like this is the year. It's almost Super Bowl or bust. So, I think it's it.
And that's interesting because it's a lot of these teams in this division, man, that's got teams that I think can make a run. One of them is the Miami Dolphins, man. John, I'm going to come to you about your Dolphins. Is Tua good enough to push this Miami Dolphins team over the top to win the AFC East?
Look, I just want to piggyback on what Damian the GOAT said down there because, Jets fans are like Mets fans. They always get their hopes up. And then the best part about it is whenever they get their hearts broken, like we're all waiting to laugh at them. So we're just waiting because we all know the three of us up here know what's going to happen. And as soon as the Jets get let down, Damian down there, he's going to be heartbroken. He's going to be surprised. Well, we all know it's coming. So just like when the Mets collapse, the Jets will do the same thing. He's going to be heartbroken. This is our year. He's going to say that. But, I mean, Aaron Rodgers got to face the Bills defense, our defense. Patriots always have a really good defense. And the Jets have Aaron Rodgers is like 40, can't move, and has got to face that. And he regressed last year? Come on, man. Like, how can you talk that shit right there? Like, get out of here with that.
Bro, he don't even believe that, man.
100% believe that. You beat a third-string rookie quarterback after Bridgewater got knocked out play 1. Congratulations. You never faced Tua, and then you lost like a sloppy game in Miami the last week of the season. Like,
but
you didn't face Tua at all.
They can say the same thing about Tua, though. Tua can't stay healthy. But if healthy, right, let's just say in a perfect world, everything is perfect. Can Tua push this Miami Dolphins team over the top? Like, do you feel like with the defenses, the coaching ability that's in this division, as well as the quarterback play, that Tua matches up with those guys?
I don't even think they need Tua to do that because the defense is so good and it got better. And you add Vic Fangio, one of the best defensive coordinators we've ever seen. He's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. You add somebody like that with the defense that was already really good. They were just banged up last year. Then you had Jalen Ramsey. The defense is just outstanding. They're going to be healthy this year. So many cornerbacks are getting back. The defensive backfield is amazing. I don't think they need the offense to do what they did last year. Defense is going to hold their own this year. And the offense just needs to be pretty good. And I think they'll be perfectly fine. Tua's health or not. But, we saw what he was number-wise when he was healthy. He was a top 5 quarterback last year. He's basically number 1 in all the stats when healthy. He just got to stay healthy. That's all.
Yeah, it's a tall task for her.
Yeah.
It's a tall task.
Big if, I know that.
When the man is laying on the field in the end zone throwing gang signs, it's kind of get kind of scary. But I'm gonna come to J Mick, man. So we know what the Patriots are, man. The most championships in this division. For the better part of 20 years, they were the class of the division. Is the Patriot way still a winning formula?
I mean, in my opinion, it is, man. I mean, the Patriot way is not not just for like Tom Brady and Bill. I mean, like the Patriot way essentially is just, I guess the easy way to explain it is it's like, so you got your personal goals and achievements, but I mean, the Patriot way is just putting the team's goals and achievements above personal. And so whether Tom Brady here or not, I mean, that kind of way is still going in New England. And the reason why it was so successful is because Tom Brady was our best player. And so, I mean, like Bill could coach him hard. And so, I mean, like he wasn't affected over the course of time in New England over like 20 years or whatever. So I mean, like what that does for the rest of the team is it shows the rest of the team, like, hey, I mean, Bill can coach the best player hard. And he's not complaining or doing whatever. So I mean, he's following the coach. And so, I mean, like, it was a trickle-down effect for the rest of the team. Now that, Brady obviously not here no more, and I mean, like, we don't have a defined best player. So, I mean, like, that way of going, I think it can still be used. It just kind of has to be, I guess the best way to say it's got to be, like, tweaked. So.
I got you. Yeah, because, I mean, it's one of those situations where you see the team and you're like, is Bill Belichick too old school to win in a modern day NFL? And he's still kind of been able to hold serve and be above average, right at average, above average. And you just kind of wonder, is it him or is it the talent, or and you never know. Like, Bill always has his team right in the thick of things, it seems like, at the end of seasons, even with the way the roster's been turned over. But speaking of it got interesting this year, right? We all play Madden. We all know, with the air behind that Madden curse is. And it's one guy in this division that made the cover this year, Josh Allen. So Whittle, man, I'm gonna come to you. Do you think that Josh Allen regresses due to the Madden curse?
I don't know if I can. You got me, Cortland. Everything good with my mic?
Yeah. You good.
Okay. I don't see that happening. I mean, if you look at Josh's numbers over the past 3 years, I mean, they've been pretty consistent. Well over 4,000 yards, well over 35 passing touchdowns, well over 40 total touchdowns. The interception turnover numbers are consistently right around 15 a year. He's rushing for between 400 and 700 yards per season. So I don't really see that. And I mean, we already saw Patrick Mahomes grace the cover of Madden and go through a season without any major injury. So I think the Madden curse is over with. I think the real curse that plagued the Buffalo Bills last year was that offensive line. We brought in Roger Saffold and thought that bringing in a left guard from the Tennessee Titans was really going to bolster that front group, and it just didn't work out. Spencer Brown had a pretty nasty back injury that he was dealing with, in the season in 2020 and 2021, and then in the offseason he really didn't have time to have the off-season program that most offensive linemen have. And he's a young guy. He's going into his second year last year, and he's probably played outside of that, outside of 2022, he probably played maybe 3 years of competitive football as an offensive lineman. Like, he didn't even do it in high school. So, he's a very raw prospect, and to see how well he performed in year one, we're very high on him coming back with a full off season this year, and we're looking forward to him kind of stepping up. But I think the offense will be a little different. I think you're still going to get Josh Allen. We call him the Winter Soldier, so you're still going to see some Avenger-like plays throughout the season. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to. You saw with the signings of Damian Harris and Latavius Murray, David Edwards, Brandon Shell. Like, we really put an emphasis on going out and getting guys that run block at a high level. So what we're trying to do inside the 20. That's been an Achilles heel for us over the last few seasons. Is when we don't have a problem getting to the red zone. It's just when we get to the red zone, that's been an issue for us. So I think Brandon Beane's done an excellent job of going out to get personnel that fit that kind of fit the demeanor of the city of Buffalo. Hardworking guys, lunch pail type individuals that are going to make you work for everything that you get, and that's what we're trying to do. And the 20, we're going to make you pay. So that's what we're going from. So I mean, all of this other stuff from the Dolphins and the Jets, like, it's cute. You guys got a lot better. Like, we're watching you guys grow up in front of our eyes, and we love to see it. But at the end of the day, Daddy's home. You know what time it is.
But the thing about Josh Allen is, I mean, you can't even ask, is he going to regress? I think you have to ask if he's going to progress. And the reason I ask that is teams were able, the Dolphins specifically, you saw in the playoff game last year, they were able to force use Josh Allen against himself. I say this a lot. Use him against himself. Josh Allen thinks he can make any throw. And a lot of times Josh Allen can. But this is the NFL. And these guys are fast, they're big, they're strong. This isn't college. Like, you can't make every throw. It's just not possible. And Josh Allen thinks he can. And there's a lot of times where the Jets did it to him last year. The Dolphins did it to him in the playoff game. They baited him into turning the ball over, and he took that bait, and he wants to push the ball downfield consistently. But he's got to learn to take the small plays. That's something he refused to do last year. So can Josh Allen stop the gunslinger mentality and kind of take what the defense gives him? Kind of like Mahomes did last year in the Super Bowl. Like the Eagles gave him, 5-yard passes. And all he did, majority of Mahomes' passes in that Super Bowl were 5 to 10 yards in the air. And that's how he did. Like, you take what the defense gives you. So that's what Josh Allen's got to do, is not force the ball. And I think the Bills will be fine, but he's his own worst enemy, Whittle. Like, that's what I think of Josh Allen. It's not anything biased. It's just, that's what I see out of him, is he thinks he can make every play, and sometimes you just got to learn to live another down.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the Bills helped him out in the draft by getting Dalton Kincaid. You know what I'm saying? And also Osiris Torrance is probably going to slide in at that left guard spot. He was the guy that I was hoping the Titans would be able to go and get. But, you know what I'm saying? The Bills went and got him, and it's all right. We're going to see what happens, because they had a damn good draft. And this is going to be a very interesting division. But like any division in the NFL, right, you got to know who's the best at each position. And we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this show.
We're skipping quarterback. We're skipping quarterback, right? We don't.
No, we can't, because we got 3 other people on this panel, man. That might have some difference of opinions. But we're going to start with the best quarterback in the AFC East. Of course, we know. I mean, there's a hierarchy, but we got 2 guys in this division that I've heard be mentioned in that upper echelon, right? And I'm gonna come to Damien, because one of the guys is on Damien's team. Damien, who do you have as the best quarterback in the AFC East right now?
We all know when this certain quarterback's up and running, he's easily the most talented quarterback, or one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Last year, people could say he regressed, but you look at the weapons around him. He had a rookie Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. It wasn't the best weapons, Robert Tonyan getting old. It's just not the best offensive weapons that he had in that team. It was one of the worst of his career, I'm not going to lie. You come back to the Jets, we got the rookie of the year, Garrett Wilson. We got Breece Hall, who's coming back. We've improved our offensive line. We got some good tight ends, Conklin, Uzama. We drafted a good one in the 7th round. We got some pieces around for him. So I feel like we brought his boy over from Green Bay as well, Lazard. We got Cobb. So I mean, he got some familiarity with his pieces, and he got some new pieces. And it's a lot of people who are expecting a big year from Garrett, like a similar Devontae Adams type connection with him. So, I mean, hey, if they could get that going, I feel like Aaron Rodgers could end up the best quarterback in the division this year. Over the last couple of seasons, I mean, most people would say Josh Allen, of course. But, hey, I think Rodgers can do it. I think Rodgers, in my opinion, is the best. But, yeah, that's just my opinion. So. Yeah,
you can't scoff at. You can't. I mean, he ain't nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still that dude, like you said, when he clicking. And I'm gonna come to J Mc next, man. Who you think, man? Like, who you think is the best quarterback in this division?
I mean, that's a tough question, because I mean, obviously, my guy is Mac Jones. He's obviously not the best guy in the division, so I'm not even gonna front like he is. And you got Aaron Rodgers got traded to the Jets this offseason, and then you got Tua, and then you got Josh Allen. I mean, for me, Tua, I have not seen enough of him playing a full season for me to say he's the best in the division. So I can't go Tua until he actually plays all the games and he can stay healthy. And then for Aaron Rodgers, like, we all, every team in this division played Aaron Rodgers last year because we played that division. And Aaron Rodgers was not that good last year. I'm gonna be honest. Like, that's not the Aaron Rodgers that I'm used to seeing over the course of me watching football of the years that I've watched. So I can't say Aaron Rodgers either. So it's a process of elimination. And I got to say Josh Allen, because Josh Allen's the only quarterback that I have in my top 5 quarterback ranking. So just on the basis of that, I've got to give it to Josh. So.
Okay, so we got 1 vote for Aaron. We got 1 vote for Josh. All right, so John, I'm gonna come to you. Who do you think is the best quarterback in the AFC East?
Man, Damian down there is just tripping, saying that Aaron Rodgers is the best. Like, maybe if you had a couple years ago, sure, Aaron Rodgers like fantastic, but the guy's over the hill. The New York media is going to eat him up. They're going to chew him up and spit him out as soon as something goes wrong. He is not going to want to handle that New York media, and it is going to be a shit show, man. Like, it's going to be a clown car of just it's going to be fun to watch for all of us outside of New York people. Like, it's going to be fun to watch because we know he doesn't like the media, and we know the New York media does not hold back. And so as soon as something goes wrong, start snapping at him. Like, yeah, he's bringing over Randall Cobb, who's 800 years old. Like, really, you're mentioning Randall Cobb? You're going to mention Mercedes Lewis too? Like, come on, man. Like, those are the same weapons Cortland just got done mentioning. He didn't have weapons, but yet he's bringing over Lazard. He had that weapon. He's bringing over Cobb. He had that weapon. Like, bringing over some of the same guys, even though he didn't have weapons. Like, I mean,
well, he didn't have Corey Davis, and he also did not have Garrett Wilson. So,
and
McCole Hartman. Don't forget about my dog McCole.
yeah, he got McCole. He got Mecole too. They got a squad over there.
Big deal. Like, we don't know if Breece Hall is going to be healthy. We don't know yet. We know he's dynamic, but we don't know how he's going to be from that injury. I just don't buy the Jets. Every time, again, it's a New York team. Like, every time you buy into the Jets or the Mets or a team like that, they let you down. They break your heart. So, I mean, I don't buy into them at all. Anyway, we're talking about good quarterbacks, not whatever's down there in New York. Not the rat-infested little city they got. I think Tua's the best. When he was healthy last year, he was number one in basically every single stat. You can put your head down, Whittle, all you want, but the numbers don't lie. When he was on the field, there was nobody better. Like, nobody aired the ball better than Tua last year. Go ahead, look. Nobody threw the ball further than Tua. Nobody attempted more passes downfield than Tua did. Like, not Mahomes, not Josh Allen, nobody. It was Tua. So I got to go with Tua. Again, Cortland mentioned we're going as if they're going to be healthy. If Tua's healthy, he's going to be the best quarterback in the division, hands down.
So
and Buffalo Miami goes to Buffalo early, and Buffalo goes to Miami late in the season, so neither one of them can complain about weather. So we'll really see how these two teams do against each other, because neither one can bitch about weather, which fine with me. I'm tired of hearing fans bitch about the weather when these two teams play. Both teams played a hell of a game. Buffalo played a hell of a game in Miami, and Miami played a hell of a game in Buffalo the second time they played and the third time they played. So I'm not one of these people that use the weather to as an excuse, Whittle.
Okay, so we got a three-way vote here. We got one vote Josh, one vote for Aaron, one vote for Tua, right? Whittle, I mean, you tiebreaker here. Is your guy the best? Is your guy the best quarterback in this division?
I might need to change, guys. I might need to change, just in case anybody's watching. I just want to address a couple of things, and John took a little bit of my thunder when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. But on top of what Aaron Rodgers had to deal with last year in Green Bay, he also had to deal with a pretty good offensive line and a really good set of running backs that he also utilized. You said you brought up Damian, you brought up CJ Uzama and Tyler Conklin, and then you said Robert Tonyan is like old as dirt. Robert Tonyan is better than both of those guys that you mentioned.
Bruh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about. So when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, he historically starts off slow in the season. He does not usually mesh well with the younger players. You're dealing with that again right here with the Jets. There's a younger player in Garrett Wilson who, if they get off to a rocky start, is he going to continue to throw him the football? So some of those weapons, like John said, that you were talking about failing him, it wasn't the young guys. Romeo Doubs went down with an injury. Christian Watson started off the season injured, and then he came on late. And over the last month of football, he was one of the top receivers in the league for Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, I don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the weapons. You're bringing these weapons over. The ones that failed him in Green Bay are coming over with him to play in the AFC East, which is a much tougher division than the NFC North. And the Tua point, I love when Dolphin fans talk about how great Tua was when he was playing against the Browns and the Steelers And he was playing teams like the Lions early, before they figured everything out. And
Carved you up in Buffalo. Don't forget that. Carved you up in Buffalo late in the season.
That's the same game where he had the football with 7:58 to go and an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter, and you guys lost that game. So the winter soldier took over as soon as the winter weather took over. But we'll look at what Tua did in the first half of the season, and that was great. He really lit up a lot of bad teams. But when he played the 49ers, what happened? When he played the Chargers, what happened? When he played the Buffalo Bills, what happened? And then when he played the Green Bay Packers, what happened? He had the lead in a few of those games, and he failed to keep the lead. What happened?
To be fair, in that Packers game, he got concussed. Right. He got concussed apparently in the second quarter, and then he threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah, apparently. But the first 3 games, though, we can't, like when he played against better talent and in December, like I don't even remember the last time you guys have won a game in December. Has it been a few seasons?
To be fair, San Fran does that to everybody. I'm just saying. San Fran does that to everybody.
The Chargers don't, though. The Chargers,
Tennessee, they do it to everybody. Right.
Get out of here.
But the Chargers don't. The Chargers usually find ways to lose
that
games.
Game was that was a weird game. I don't understand. Yeah. We came in with like coats. It was supposed to be like 55, and we had like warmers on the sideline. It's like,
yeah, I mean,
you had warmers in a dome.
That's what I'm talking about, man. You guys are not built for playoff football, but
it's called overcompensating, man.
That's another conversation. The correct answer here, the only answer here is Josh Allen. Josh Allen's consistently been good, for the last 3 years. I mean, I'm not even going to say good. He's been elite for the last 3 years, and it's not even a question. Whether it's in clutch situations, fourth quarter, you need a first down, you need a game-winning drive. Josh Allen continues to deliver. He is the best quarterback in this division, and I'm sorry, it's not close.
Yeah, and Josh Allen is the only guy that I like. Like Jay Big said, he's the only guy that I have in my top 5 right now, and I got him at 3. So,
we like that top 5, not 5. Yeah, we like that.
Yeah. So it's kind of tough to go against a guy who's been consistently, like you said, like the past 3 years, considered the only direct competition to Patrick Mahomes, who's clearly the best quarterback in the game. And it's hard to go against him. But like I said, it's 3 guys in this division. One of them, if they stay healthy, the other guy, if he develops, chemistry on his team, that, it's 3 guys that can vibe. But I don't know, man. If Mac Jones gets the guy that they looking to get, which it's a stiff competition between the Patriots and Tennessee right now to get that guy. If he get that guy, we might see him emerge. So who knows?
I better hurry up before he end up in Buffalo.
Can Bill O'Brien
he's welcome in New England. He's more than welcome over here, man.
Can Bill O'Brien and D-Hop can they coexist again? It didn't happen in Houston, right?
Yeah,
trade for a bag of chips to Arizona.
Yeah, that was 3-4 years ago, man. So a lot's changed since then. So
man, it's crazy y'all sleeping on Rodgers, bro.
I ain't sleeping on Rodgers. I like Aaron. I got Aaron Rodgers.
Bro has one off season after going back-to-back MVP, and now he's just regressed so much, bro. That's just crazy.
It's what have you done for me? It's what have you done for me lately?
I have to ask Damian this: does he get to face the Lions twice this year? No. Does he get to face the Bears defense twice? No. Does he get to face the Vikings bad defense twice? No. He no longer gets 6 free passes a year on bad defenses. Patriots good defense.
I don't know how y'all can talk down. Like we didn't have Zach Wilson and Mike White. Zach Wilson and Mike White tearing y'all defenses up for the most part of the year, bro. Like we put up 40 on y'all's defense. Like with Zach, like come on, bro.
You put up 40 on y'all. You picked off Thompson, a rookie 3rd-string quarterback.
Oh, brother, what's that got to do with y'all? What's that got to do with y'all's defense?
Because if you throw picks, it allows the team to get good field position and score.
Make sure you apply that to that playoff game when we played against y'all. When you guys had 3 drives starting plus territory. Make sure you do that. 3 scoring drives starting in plus territory.
So
you're talking to me or the Patriots?
I'm talking to you, John. Make sure you stay consistent.
Make
3
sure.
drives
Okay.
starting plus territory.
Okay. I mean, I remember the first play of the second half when Josh Allen fumbled and it went back for a touchdown.
Yeah, we had bad line play. The ball went off Cole Beasley's hand, but somehow we managed to pull that thing out and advance to the next.
I mean, they somebody had to win and somebody had to lose, and last time I checked, the Bills was the ones that moved on. So, but we got to move on, man. We got to go to these guys that actually turn around and get the ball handed to them. The running back position. This is a division where one guy who I feel like if he's healthy, he's the best running back in this division, but I could be wrong. I'm just a guy on the outside looking in. So we're gonna come to Whittle. Who do you have as the best ball carrier in this division?
So the only answer is Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots. He's got the production. He's a dual threat running back. He runs for power. He runs for speed. He can catch the ball out the backfield. He's an excellent pass blocker. Like he's the best running back in the division for sure.
Okay. John, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how anybody can. I'm sure Damien's going to say Breece Hall because he saw him for like half a season, but Bill Belichick always produces running backs, and I think Ramondre Stevenson's a fantastic back. They got a pretty good run blocking offensive line, I would say, and they always seem to be able to run the football no matter where the Patriots are at record-wise. They always run the football really well under Bill Belichick. Stevenson's just a really good back. You've seen all the James White and all these guys that are really good backs. I love Stevenson. It's unfortunate he's on the Patriots, but he's a fantastic back, so I got to go him.
All right, well, J-Man, who you got, man? Who is Ramondre the best in the division?
I mean, to me, Mondre is the best. I mean, it's just like Whittle and John said. I mean, like last year, he the reason why Damon Harris is not on my team anymore because, I mean, like, he was coming up on a contract year, and then Mondre rushed for 1,000 yards last year. He averaged 5 yards a carry, and then I believe he also caught about 400 yards of receiving. I think he averaged about 6 yards per catch. And I mean, he's a good blocking running back as well. So he does it all. So he kind of like he forced Damien out to go to Buffalo. So I mean, he's just that good of a running back, and he's only played 2 years. He's going to his third year this year. So I mean, we're expecting big things out of him. So I mean, I got to go Mondre.
Okay, I got 3 votes for Ramondre Stevenson. Damien, you can break up the mundaneness here. You can.
Bro, hey, bro. As much as I want to say Breece, because he's easily the most talented running back in the division. I don't care what nobody says. We haven't had a complete season. I don't know if the injury thing's going to be a consistent thing. I haven't seen a full season from him. So like, let's say he gets injured again this season, he might be injury prone. So I really can't say Breece, even though I know the talent's there. When he was there, he was on pace for some great numbers. But yeah, I would say Ramondre, just based on the body of work, he is the best right now. He doesn't have injury problems. He's able to do it all on, the catching and the running side. So my unbiased opinion would be Ramondre for now, at least until my dog is back 100%.
Ain't no way you said. Wait, hold on. Ain't no way you said that your running back's the most talented. Come on, we got.
No, he definitely is. No, he definitely
a hell
is,
of a lot. Raheem Mostert's a hell of a lot more talented than your running back.
Hold on, John. Hold on.
Get out of here.
Breece Hall is definitely talent for talent. He's the most talented. He's the most talented back in the division. Ramondre is the most. It has the production, but I'm gonna give y'all some numbers here because again, I'm the guy on the outside looking in. Breece Hall was on pace for 11-23 before the injury. Right, that was playing 7 games and only had 2 starts. He was essentially going to be the bell cow back before he got injured. If he had played to his average, which was 66 yards a game last year, if you just times that by 10 and add it to what he had, he was on pace for 11-23, which would have been, I think, 60 more yards. I think roughly 59 and some change more yards than Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not saying Ramondre is not as good. All I'm saying is when Breece and Ramondre are both healthy, I don't think it's a clear-cut guy who's better, but I give the edge to Breece from what I saw last year. And that's
Breece is also splitting carries, man. He's splitting with Michael Carter.
He ain't doing that this year.
Everybody splits carries, man.
I mean, not with 2 other running backs significantly. Like
and he was, like I said, he was emerging Breece was emerging as the starter. He was emerging as the guy.
Yeah, Michael Carter was the one first, and then it went to Breece, and then after Breece, they try to mix in some Bam Knight and stuff like that. But yeah, we gonna see with my dog back.
Yes.
You know, we might get Dalvin Cook too, so be on the lookout for that, man.
Well,
Every team in
Miami-
the division might get Dalvin
Yeah.
Cook.
Yeah, Miami might. I don't know, man. He's looking at Miami. He's kind of campaigning hard to go to Miami right now. So I wouldn't mind seeing Dalvin in teal and orange.
I'm just saying if he would do I don't want him to, but if he did the smart thing and went to Buffalo, that would make Buffalo complete. Because again, if you put him in Buffalo,
we have Damian Harris, dude. Our running back room is complete.
But if you have Dalvin Cook and All Pro, it makes it where Josh Allen doesn't have to be the entire offense, and you could have a reliable guy in the backfield, a guy that's an All Pro, and then Josh Allen doesn't have as much pressure on him to be the entire offense.
Damian Harris is 1 year removed. Damian Harris is 1 year removed from 15 touchdowns, and we have James Cook.
And he's also not in a
Bill Belichick
system anymore.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
They got his brother.
Like
John, you forget.
Yeah,
They got his brother.
We have the younger Cook.
Yeah, they got
He's on his parents though, so I mean,
yeah, that's true too.
That's true, yeah.
But now we get to the fun part, right? We get to the funnest group, I believe, and the group that I'm more akin to because it's the position that I played. We can talk about wide receivers. Who's the best wide receiver group in this division, and why is it not the Miami Dolphins? Damien, I'm coming to you.
You said I can't even lie and say it's not Miami. Like that, if I said it wasn't Miami, it would just be a lie, bro. They got two of the most talented wide receivers in the league, and they're both on the same team. Waddle's a freak of nature. Tyreek's a freak of nature. It's just like you can't stop that. Like they both have leaping ability, speed, all the hands. It's just all in one package, right? They're very lucky to have them. They really don't deserve them, but they got them. So we're gonna say it's Miami who got the best receivers in the league or in the division.
Willow, do you agree, man? Do you think the Miami Dolphins are the best wide receiver group in this division?
Well, they certainly have the best duo of wide receivers, but when you look at the entire room, the depth after that is very, very shaky. Braxton Berrios stinks. I'm sorry. He's a special teams guy. He's not that good. Damien can attest for that. He dropped a touchdown that hit him in the numbers.
Game. I was so pissed
against the Minnesota Vikings.
So trust me, I mean, I know all about Berrios.
Right, Jamie. Braxton Berrios stinks. I'm sorry. He's a good special teamer, and if that's what you're going to use him for, awesome. But after that, you have Cedric Wilson, who at this point, has he learned the offense yet? I don't think so, because he's not. I mean, we're hearing him in trade rumors and all these other things, and then you have chosen Robbie Anderson coming over from I don't know which NFL team he was with the last time. Right, he's a speed guy. He's a speed threat, but I mean, he's built like a number 2 pencil. So I don't know how much you're going to get out of him. They have no ability to attack the middle of the field with their wide receivers. Their tight end group is suspect as well. They drafted a kid, I think Elijah Higgins out of Stanford, who they're going to try to change into a tight end. I mean, he's 6'4", like 235, 240 pounds, but not a great route runner, not elite. He's got elite size as a wide receiver, 6'4", 240, but outside of that, I mean, he's not uber athletic, and his hands are okay. I mean, he's not going to be able to block either. So I don't know, man. I mean, if you're talking about the entire room of pass catchers, I think you have to give Buffalo the nod. But if you're just talking about who's got the better names and the better wide receivers, you go. Actually, I think there's a scenario if you talk about the entire group, tight end, wide receiver. It's very close. Like the Patriots have a decent set of weapons as well, and so do the Jets. I like Conklin.
How many tables did you jump through before you did this show?
None. I don't do tables.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you hit your head or.
But I'm the reason why I say this is because I'm going to give you your props, man. You know, Hill and Waddle are tough guys to go up against, unless you have Kyer Elam and Christian Benford. But we can discuss that first half of the Miami Buffalo game, week 3, at a later date. But outside of that, man, I mean, those guys are terrors, man. They're very difficult to defend. They create a lot of space for the rest of the guys on the field. But outside of those two guys, I mean, I think the room is very shaky. They brought in They brought in the guy that was with Detroit. I mean, not Detroit, Denver, Sauerburn or something like that, a tight end who I like, Eric Sauerburn or something like that. I like him as a player, but I mean, he's a bottom tier tight end. He's just another guy. Like outside of those top two, they got a bunch of Jags, man.
But they're not an offense that runs the tight end anyway. It's not predicated on the tight end anyway.
Well, y'all can't run a tight end anymore because Mike Gesicki went to New England. So yeah, so
he can't even run anyway. Like
better than
he ran enough. He ran enough to get the bag. So J Mick, who you got as the best receiving group in this division?
I mean, I would love to say my team, but I honestly can't do that. I mean, my team has good depth at the, like at that position. But I mean, the issue is for me, like Stephon Diggs. Like I love Stephon Diggs, but my issue was Gabe Davis. Like Gabe Davis is not always consistent enough for me to say that, for the second wide receiver that Buffalo got the best unit. The Jets to me have one guy in Garrett Wilson. Everybody behind them is not. I mean, they're all right. They're just not that great. And then when I go to the Dolphins, they have two elite guys. And so, yeah, I mean, like they might not have the depth that Buffalo has, but their two guys are so elite that they kind of make up for not having that depth. So I'd have to give the edge to the Dolphins. I mean, it pains me to do that, but I'd have to say the Dolphins.
Okay. So, John, don't.
Yeah, look, you guys
can break this up.
You're also forgetting that the Dolphins drafted a running back who's one of the fastest players in the NFL, Kane.
Yeah.
They're gonna use him out. They're gonna use him in the slot, is what their plan is, because they've got a plethora of running backs as is. So that guy's gonna line up, and you got to go and cover a guy that's almost as fast as Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, which is just insane. Like the guy's speed is insane. Braxton Berrios, I mean, the Dolphins are going to use him as a chain mover. And so the guy's going to be open when you have to cover these other guys that are lightning fast. Okay, Braxton Berrios has got some speed, and he's going to be a chain mover, a guy that all his job will be is, hey, let me catch 3rd and 5. Let me move the first down chains. Like that's going to be his only job. And when you got Hill and Waddle taking all of the eyes, that guy's going to be wide open. And I mean, anybody can, catch a 5-yard pass. We saw Tom Brady turn how many little white receivers into what we thought were elite receivers. So, Braxton Bear is this little tiny guy, we'll turn him into Wes Welker, man. Like that's what we'll do.
That's all hope.
That's kind of crazy. I think at best you can hope that he becomes shirt.
But I meant we'll turn him into that guy that just moves the chains.
But John, that's high hopes because y'all quarterback can't even hope to fill the cleats, Tom Brady.
No, but I'm just saying that role. He'll just move the chains. That's all you need out of a guy like that. He doesn't have to be a number one. And you guys mentioned Chosen. We out there. The Dolphins, the reason they don't play tight ends is they just want to go 100 miles an hour and see if you can keep up. That's why they got Anderson. So they got Hill and Waddle. So they got a Kane because they just want to go fast and see if you can keep up with them. And not a lot of teams can keep up with that much speed. It's too much.
I'll say this, and Whittle kind of he mentioned two guys, but he didn't mention TDW though, because Tre'Davious White is still him. He's still Himothy out there on the corner. So he's still Himothy. So
come on, man. I wore it for a reason, Corlin.
Trey White, not even a top 3 corner in the division.
Look,
hey, man, you heard what I said.
You know what's funny?
You heard what I said,
when
man.
you look at the numbers, neither is Sauce. Yeah, let's have
that. You're crazy, hey, bro. You don't get all pro first team without numbers, man. You can't get that. Rookie and all pro first team, man.
He didn't have better numbers than Tariq Woolen, bro.
Yeah, hey, bro. Hey, who got the goal, man? All I'm gonna say, man. Who got the goal?
I like Sauce though. But
none of us mentioned Christian Gonzalez. I had the chance to speak with him at the draft, and that guy's gonna be really good. I have no idea how he fell to New England.
Yeah, that made me upset. For
I
sure.
know how. I definitely know how it happened, but
I was just happy with it
No,
personally.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know how people are crazy enough to let him fall to Bill Belichick at, I think it was 14. Like,
14.
that's a perfect.
No, 17. Was 17,
That's a perfect Bill
Yeah,
Belichick.
I feel like he was better than Forbes. And who else went above him? I forgot who else went.
Forbes didn't go above
Witherspoon,
him.
I think.
Oh, it wasn't Forbes?
It was
No, he went better than Witherspoon.
Oh,
it
it was
was
Witherspoon.
Witherspoon. Yeah,
Like,
he went better than Witherspoon.
Oh no, you don't think he? I feel like he has. I don't know. I feel like his body control and his speed. He got.
I'm telling you.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you.
No, Witherspoon.
Go watch Devin Witherspoon tape. Mm-hmm. That dude was the reason why he went that high. Dude is him. And it's gonna get scary.
Gonzalez.
It's going. I mean, yes, but it's going to get scary out there in Seattle. But y'all gotta wait. We're a couple weeks away from the NFC West. So I'm gonna say this.
They got a lot of skill positions, man.
Miami. I get why people say Miami because Jalen Waddle, Penguin, and the Cheetah. Man, you got the zoo out there. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to keep up with that. But I'm gonna throw some love to the New York Jets. Alan Lazard is there. I'm not even gonna talk about the old guys. Alan Lazard, Corey Davis is not gone, and you still got the rookie offensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year, and Garrett Wilson, who I think is going to take a leap this year with better quarterback play. Because last year he showed he could be a number one. This year, I think
really mentioned Corey Davis. Did you really mention Corey Davis?
Hey, if he's healthy, he's good, man. It's just
he's a solid number 2. And here's the thing, right? Like Corey Davis gets to run in the slot because Alan Lazard is going to be the primary outside receiver. Garrett Wilson gets to move around. I just think it's a lot sleeping on. I think people are sleeping on the New York Jets and the depth they have at receiver. That's not counting Randall Cobb, who, just like you just said, Bernard Berrios gets to go and be a chain mover. Randall Cobb has made a career out of doing that. So I'm not going to sleep on them too much. But you got to stop these teams. You got to stop these receivers. You got to stop these running backs. You got to stop these quarterbacks. And defense is the way that you do that. Now, 3 of these teams in the division have very good defenses. There's no questions about it. One of these teams have to re-up their defense, and they got to hope that some of them guys stay healthy to keep up with their offense. So, John, I'm going to come to you. Who do you think got the best complete defense in the division?
I mean, if you're adding in Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, then it's the Dolphins. Like, with Vic Fangio, because last year Josh Boyer was an idiot. Like, he has no idea how to coach a defense. So Xavier Howard's healthy this year, which is a big key. And then you get Jalen Ramsey opposite of him. Those two together right there are just insane. And then the Dolphins' defensive line is really good. Jalen Phillips is going to be an absolute star in this league. Christian Wilkins, I know Buffalo don't like him. You guys don't like him down there. He don't like you. He's an absolute star. The weakest part of the Dolphins is their linebacking core, but the defensive backs speak for themselves. Defensive line speaks for itself. It's got to be the Dolphins, but I'm not knocking the Bills because the Bills got damn good defense too. So Dolphins just barely above the Bills.
Whittle, do you agree with the Dolphins are just that little titch above?
No. I think the Dolphins have the worst defense in the division. Yeah, I do. I think the Patriots. Well, I mean, where do we start? First of all, the coaching in New England. That's number one. You guys spent $110 million on Bradley Chubb to go and get you single-digit sacks. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, but okay, no problem. Christian Wilkins is a great run stopper, but ring my bell when he gets more than 5 sacks in the season. Like, ring my bell when he gives you some sack production on the inside, because he doesn't do it. As far as Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, I mean, can we put on the tape of what Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis have done to those gentlemen? I mean, we can definitely do that. Stephon Diggs has so many sons running around right now. It used to be J.C. Jackson, but now J.C. Jackson is Stephon Diggs Jr., and Stephon Diggs the second is Xavier Howard, and Stephon Diggs the third is Jalen Ramsey. Like, I get it. I think your defense will be better than what it has been against teams outside of the division, but I think your defense is worse off without Josh Boyer against division teams because of the insane amount of pressure that you guys
are you talking about the guy that runs prevent defense on 3rd and 17?
I'm not talking about that play, man. I'm not talking about that play. I'm talking about the guy who realized that the front four could not generate enough pressure on a consistent basis, so he brought 1 or 2 extra guys that the offensive side of the ball could not block, which forced a lot of teams to take the first or second read or just tuck in and just take the sack. You guys are not going to do that now. You guys are going to blitz. Vic Fangio will still blitz. He'll still blitz, but at the end of the day, he's going to try to fool the quarterback, and I just don't think you're going to see a lot of success trying to fool an Aaron Rodgers or trying to fool a Josh Allen, who I will share these numbers with you. Pre-UCL had excellent accuracy in decision making. His numbers pre the UCL last year, his numbers were excellent from the short range to the intermediate. Excellent numbers. I'll share them with you if you like.
Aside from leading the league in interceptions, right?
No, he didn't actually. Actually, Dak Prescott led the league in interceptions, and he only played 12 games. But good try, though. Good try. One thing I know about my quarterback is he doesn't fold against good teams. I wish I could say that about all the quarterbacks in the division, but I know mine doesn't. But I gotta say, man, that I love my defense. I think overall we have the best secondary. I love Trey White. I love Kyer Elam. Taron Johnson still one of the top nickel corners in the league. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, it's the best safety duo in the NFL. Maybe
you jumping ahead. You jumping ahead, man.
You said total defense. Okay,
like this.
I know. You said defense. I apologize, man. I'm just saying. I just think overall, I think with Sean McDermott calling the defense this year, it's going to be very multiple. If you look at some of the additions that we made, Leonard Floyd, a Puna Ford, drafting Dorian Williams, 82-inch wingspan, 6'1", runs a sub 4.5 40. If you watched him at Tulane, the kid is an absolute missile. They brought in Taylor Rapp to be a bigger coverage guy that they play in some dime packages. And Gregory Rousseau last year had 8 sacks. AJ Epinesa had 6.5 sacks quietly, and Von Miller's going to come back healthy. And I think I love what we have, man. I love what we're looking at. But I got to give the nod to the Patriots, man. They have the best defensive coach. They have absolute studs at on that defensive line. Their linebackers are young and fast. They added Marte Mapu, who's another one of those 6'2", 6'3", 220, 225 pound guys that can run and fly all over the field. They've got some great young corners, and their safeties have always been good. So I got to give the slight edge over the Bills to the Patriots.
Tre'Davious White's over the hill.
Man, stop that. Technique is always it's always good to have. And that man got elite technique.
Hey, Cortland. It's funny he says that because he's played 30 less games than Jalen Ramsey, and he just touted Jalen Ramsey as being a great player.
But Damian, man, so we heard the Dolphins. I can't disagree with the Patriots. I like that pick. Do you feel like the Jets maybe have the best defense in this division? Did we lose Damian? I think we lost Damian.
No, I'm here. I couldn't get myself off mute.
I was gonna say we're gonna lose him again right after Halloween.
Yeah.
That season will be over by Halloween.
Hey, listen, bro. In my opinion, we got the best D line in the division. We got the best corners in the division. We got DJ Reed. We got Sauce Gardner and Michael Carter. You can't sleep on the slot corners. That's y'all problem. Y'all never worried about the slot corner. We got the best slot corner in the division. Debatably the best slot corner in the league. And then we go to the middle linebackers, right? You go to the middle linebackers. We got all the depth on the line, bro. First off, we got the deepest D line in the league outside the Eagles. We got Quinnen, Franklin Myers, Carl Lawson, Solomon Thomas. We done drafted a dog. Who else we got? We got Jermaine Johnson. Like it's just too many people. We got dogs for real. Then we got CJ. We got Quinnen Williams' brother at the linebacker. We just got everybody. We got Adrian Amos. We got motherfucking Whitehead. Like, bro, you can't stop, bro. It's just too much. And the numbers don't lie, bro. There's a reason why we was in all them games, bro. Our defense is so elite. That's why we shut down Miami. That's why we shut down the New England both games, and that's why we shut down Buffalo. So I think we got the best division. But that's just me.
Can I ask you a question?
That's like the Milwaukee Bucks talking about having Thanos Antetokounmpo. But go ahead.
All right, man. It's a
No,
whole bunch of
Williams-
hate going on.
Williams-
You said
The Williams and Williams duo is dangerous. I give
you
that.
said the Eagles have the deepest defensive line. The Jets have the second deepest. Did the
Yup.
San Francisco 49ers did they just
Yeah, we-
did they
yeah,
just
we-
go
we-
to
He
the
said,
NFL or
it's
Hey,
depth.
man,
He didn't
I
say,
said
he
what
didn't
I
say
said.
how good. He said
I said
Right.
depth.
and arguably,
Our D line,
Yeah,
our
but
D
the
line,
49ers
our D line is like 8 deep, bro.
I
Guys,
guess
yeah,
the
I was gonna say
49ers
they
went
can
to the
run-
NFL. I don't know.
The
It's
Jets'
like four-
defensive
it's-
line isn't deeper than Buffalo's.
How
It's
isn't
it's
it?
like four. It's
How
like 4 or
isn't
5
it?
teams. Hold on, it's like 4 or 5 teams that can run 2 starting lineups as far as their front fours go. The Bills are one, the Jets are another, the San Francisco 49ers are one, the Titans are another, and the Colts. Those 5 teams, them front fours, they can run them
Forget
guys off
about
the field and
Philly.
bring in 4 more. So
Forget about Philly.
You love Al Woods?
Oh, in
You
Philly,
love Al
in
Woods
Philly.
at defensive tackle?
Yes, and that was a good ass pickup that we
He's
just
30
got, bro.
He's
Al Woods is
39.
solid.
But he's solid. He's solid, bro.
He's
It doesn't matter.
39.
Production over names, man.
He's
It's age, bro. We
39.
care about the production. Aaron Rodgers 38, and he's finna be the best quarterback.
No,
in the league.
Aaron
That shit don't
Rodgers
matter.
is
It
40.
don't matter. It don't matter. 40.
Hey,
I don't care, bro.
Hey, I like
We
it.
finna
I
cook.
like it.
We finna cook.
It's getting spicy in here, but
You guys are gonna have your team dinner at Denny's, man. Jesus Christ.
I gotta go to my guy J Mick, man. Who do you feel like? Because I ain't gonna spoil who I feel like is the best defense in this division, but who do you feel like is the best defense as a total group in this division?
So I'm gonna say this right. Going into last season, I'm gonna be real with you. Like the Patriots done beat the Jets about 14 straight times. So I don't got a whole bunch of respect for the Jets. I'm not gonna lie to you. Don't got a lot of respect for them. But I mean, when we played them, I mean, the defense is tough. So I'm not gonna act like the defense wasn't I think at the top 3 or 4 defense last year in the league. So I'm not gonna act like the defense is not good, but I mean they do have holes at the linebacker position. Like I don't like their linebackers. I'm not gonna lie about it. Like I don't think they cover that well, and that's just my opinion on that. I can't say the Dolphins because the Dolphins to me have the worst defense in the division. Like they finished in the 20s last year in defense, and I understand that they got Vic Fangio and Jalen Ramsey. I get that, but I mean the problem is when you're in the 20s and you have to leap up to the other 3 defenses that are top 10 defenses. I just don't think that they've made enough changes to leap up. And honestly, I've never liked Bradley Chubb because Bradley Chubb's only double-digit sack season was when he was playing next to Von Miller. I mean, his seasons after Von Miller left, they've been single-digit sack seasons. So I'm not that impressed by Chubb either. And I mean, the Buffalo Bills, I do like their defense. I mean, I do like their D-line. Like I do like their linebackers and their secondary. But I like the Patriots better. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I mean, we were top 3rd for most sacks in the league last year. We were top 10 defense when it came to points. And I like our draft picks. I mean, we drafted Gonzalez in the 1st round as our corner. I can't remember the last time in the last decade that we've had a corner that's over 6 feet because all our corners are like 5'10" and under. So I like that pick. And then the 2nd round we picked Deion White from Georgia Tech. So I mean, he's gonna, our pass rush last year was already good, so he's gonna help that pass rush out even more. So yes, I mean, for those reasons and the fact that we have the best DC in the division, I've got to say my team.
To be fair, Jamie,
I agree.
mean, I will say that majority of your stats were probably the 2 games you played Zach Wilson. That was probably the majority of your
John,
turnovers,
you gotta stop, bro.
your great games. It was probably the 2 against Zach
you gotta
Wilson.
stop.
I mean, but I didn't even mention
They were a goal line fumble away from beating the Bengals.
Hey,
What are we
so
doing?
here's the thing, right? The one thing the Patriots are always going to do, they're going to play staunch defense. They're going to be stingy on defense. I don't care what the talent, even when their team didn't have what on paper said they were a top 10 defense, they were a top 10 defense. Like they're like that. And as long as Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick, you're gonna call great defense. This is going to happen. And I think this is the best defense in this division. I don't think the Patriots. I think the Patriots are the best defense in the division, but I don't think the gap is just that big. I think the Bills are right there. I think the Jets are just young. But Quentin Williams, I think, is it Quincy Williams? Or I can't remember that boy name. Number 56.
Quincy Williams.
Yeah, I think it's
Quincy and Quentin are both dogs at their position. Quinnen arguably last year had a first-team All-Pro year when he was healthy. Then on top of that, you add Sauce Gardner, who's going into his second year in the league. Like he said, they have depth at corner, and then they have those safeties in the back end. They just got to cover over the top to stay deeper than deep. It's a very sneaky good defensive unit. It's hard, but Miami to me, right? They spent a lot of money in the secondary, but that defensive front is still question marks. It still has question marks. I mean, yes, y'all made some good additions here and there. You stole our middle linebacker, but y'all defensive, he doesn't stay healthy. I think he already tweaked the hamstring. So good luck with that. So it's one of those situations where I don't think Miami is a bad defense, but it's hard. It's gonna be hard to catch those other three when you talk
Miami
about total defensive units.
Miami was struck by the injury bug last year. If you don't know anything about Miami, Brandon Jones was their safety that blitzed a ton, and he's one of the best in the league at blitzing when it comes from the safety spot. He's one of the best in football at doing that from the safety position. So they lost him, and that was a big loss. And then Nick Needham, you guys talked about guys that cover your guy in the slot. He's fantastic at that. He's really good at that, and he went down last year as well. And Xavier Howard wasn't healthy at all last year. So they were banged up a lot in the secondary. They should be healthier this year. And again, Jalen Phillips is going to take that next step into stardom this year. A guy on that defensive line who I think is going to start to put himself into that conversation for being an elite defensive lineman. I think he's going to put himself in that conversation this year. We already saw glimpses of it last year. So that's why I think this team's going to be really good, and I still think Jalen Ramsey has a lot left in the tank. So I think as long as they stay healthy, I think they're just as good as anybody else.
Xavier doesn't, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna move on to the DB group. But I think Jalen Ramsey should have made the transition to safety. I don't think his hips. If you look at his last couple of seasons, the hips are not there anymore. The long speed isn't there anymore. He's not the all-world athlete he was coming out of Florida State. He's not that guy anymore. And I love Jalen. That's my dog. That's my dog, right? That's been my dog since we was little kids. Y'all don't know, he's from Nashville. So that's my dog. He just ain't that no more. He's not that no more. He should have made the transition to safety, and maybe they might do that. But I'm going to go to the best DB group in the division. And this is where it gets a little spicy because y'all got some dogs on these DB groups, man, in this division. Y'all got some legit dogs. But I'm going to come to J-Mick first. J-Mick, who you feel like got the best DB group in the division?
I would love to say the Patriots, but with the departure and the retirement of Devin McCourty, like our safety position, I'm not gonna say it's unstable because we still have Adrian back there, and we have Jarrell Peppers, and we got a couple other guys, but losing Devin is a big piece to our safety room. So I can't necessarily say the Patriots. But I do love Marcus Jones as our slot corner. I do love Jonathan Jones. And I do love Jack Jones. He's going through some issues right now, but I love those guys and Gonzalez. I just can't say my team because of the safety position. The Dolphins have a lot of name brands in their secondary, but I can't say theirs either because I haven't seen their whole room play together because Xavier was pretty much hurt last year, the whole season. But I do like the draft picks of Cam Smith, and and they added and his name is just lost me from the Rams or whatever. But him too. But I can't say the Dolphins either. So for me, it's between the Bills and the Jets. And personally, what breaks the tie for me is the safety room for the Bills. They have two safeties that have been all pro. And so the Jets have a much younger secondary. They have DJ Reed and Sauce. And their safeties are cool, but one of the safeties that they traded from the Ravens, he tore his ACL. So there's a little bit of kind of uncertainty in their safety room. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a believer in Amos. I've never really loved how he plays it. If he's playing in the box, cool, but I don't trust him as a deep safety. That's just not something that I see. So when I break down all that, I'd have to say the Bills have the best DBs in the division.
Okay, John, who do you feel like has the best DB group?
Again, it has to be us. Tre'Davious White's over the hill. Let's just start with that. Well, I know Johnson's a fantastic product. Like what they got over there, I hate facing that guy because he's so good. He's always physical. He's a really good player. But I mean, you got to go with us. You guys haven't mentioned Javon Holland once. I have no idea how none of you just gloss right over Javon Holland, the
Bro, I
snowman.
love
Like,
Javon, bro. That's my dog, but I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
like
give him props.
come on, man. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. Everybody knows.
I
Javon,
mean,
dog.
you're talking about your safeties, you're talking about all your positions, but nobody wants mentions the snowman. With Brandon Jones back there, them safeties are going to be really good. They are young, but with Cam Smith, with Nick Needham, them taking up the slot, and then you got the guys on the outside. You know what they're going to give you. Sometimes they'll get burned, but they'll also make plays too. They're also going to get some interceptions. Their own. I mean, Xavier Howard basically picks off Josh Allen every time they play. So you can pencil him in for at least one pick every time they play anyway. I mean, that's not that hard to pick up Josh Allen. But so I got to go with our defensive backs. Way better than anybody in this division. It's not even close. Ours are going to be easily top 3 this year. None of these even come close to ours.
Way better.
Wow.
Way better.
Way better.
Bro,
Ours
you
are
don't even
top
believe that,
3.
bro.
There's
Yeah,
no
I
way
do.
you believe that. Way
Last
better.
time I checked, the guy that Damian got as his profile picture was considered the best corner in this division. But Damian, who do you got as the best DB group in the division?
Bro, once you got the best cornerback in the league, you automatically get that title, bro. We got Sauce. Well, don't do no holding, bro. I seen that, bro. He's
You
not
know what
holding.
it is.
He's not holding nothing. If he was holding, they would have
Right, he's
called it, bro.
hugging. He's not holding. He's hugging.
Hugging. There
Hey,
you
bro.
go.
Hey,
Got the
hey,
Richard
listen. If
Sherman
he's getting
effect.
away with it, then everybody should do it, man. All I'm gonna say is
Reeves
you
is
don't.
getting
You don't.
Everybody holds.
Hey, literally
holds.
everybody holds. It's about not getting caught, man. And he don't get caught. So it's good technique to me. Hey, but we got 2 of the highest graded corners in the league, and nobody really sleeps or nobody really notices DJ Reed and the work he puts in. But a lot of times he's guarding number 1s as well, or really, really good number 2s, like the Bengals game, right? He really shut down T. Higgins that game. Like he really will go against like your 1s and your 2s and not allow big stuff. Like against the Dolphins, right? You seen DJ Reed matching up against Tyreek Hill a lot. Even though Sauce got that 1 interception in the game, but you see DJ Reed going against these number 1s and not giving up no slack. So he's really underrated. And then you got Michael Carter, that one of the highest graded slot corners in the league, bro. We got the cornerback position on. Like I feel like our cornerbacks are the best. And then you look at Adrian Amos. He's coming off an season, but like he's had some good years for Green Bay, and like just the season before this one, he had a pretty solid season. So yeah, like Jay Mick was saying, in the box, he's pretty good. Whitehead is really, really good in the box as well. Really good tackling safety. It really comes down to Ashton Davis. He's more of our free safety guy, the fast guy, the speed guy over the top. If he has a good season, then I feel like we have the best DBs in the division. Looking at he's 3rd year, I think now. Looking at Buffalo got some dogs that they clearly have the superior safeties as a group. But I feel like their corners aren't like up to par as everybody else's in the divisions. Trey White, he has some health issues. You got some young talent, but I feel like the cornerbacks is what separates it. Then you go to Miami. Miami got, Xavier Howard, who got that hamstring issue, bro. Is he going to get over that this year? Hamstrings is like the worst thing that you could really have is an injury that lingers around, bro. Hamstrings suck. And then, Jalen Ramsey, he don't got the speed anymore. So it's like, I don't know, Javon might be carrying that DB core on the back. And then Jay Mick, his team got Gonzalez, Marcus. I feel like ours is the best all around, bro. You look at the top end to the bottom end, and then our cornerbacks are 4 deep. I didn't even mention Bryce Hall or didn't even mention
You didn't mention those guys because they stink.
Bro, Bryce Hall doesn't suck, bro. Bryce Hall and Echols are solid, man. But yeah, we got depth. I feel like depth is important. So I feel like we got the best all around top to bottom group.
So yeah, let's go. I'm going to talk about Buffalo. Tre'Davious White is another, he's another year removed from the ACL injury. I am fully expecting Tre'Davious White to have a bounce back pre 2021. Well, we lost the host. Wow. All right, well, just like the division, I'll run the show. We I'm expecting Tre'Davious White to have a bounce back season. I'm expecting him to look like 2021 Trey White prior to the ACL tear. And if not that, if we can get 90% of that, that's still a really, really good player. Kyer Elam, Christian Benford, those guys, and Dane Jackson are the cornerback, 1 and 2 are the cornerback depth after Trey White. Elam slides in at the 2 spot. Benford, close third, and then Dane Jackson, I think is a solid CB4 probably in the league. For the first 12 games of his career, he did not give up a touchdown. And he went up against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Kansas City Chiefs, etc. Like, he went up against some really solid groups and did not give up a touchdown at all. When I talk about my young corners, Kyer Elam and Christian Benford, I just have to go look at the box scores against the Miami Dolphins. Let's pull this up. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches for 102 yards in the first game. The majority of that was in the second half after Benford didn't play. Tyreek Hill, 2 catches for 33 yards. Kyer Elam guarded him the entire game. We can go and look at the other games as well. I mean, it's pretty similar.
Which game was that? Was that the first game where you had
the first game?
The game where you had the ball 40 minutes?
Yeah, we had 9 possessions. We had 9 possessions, and you guys had 8.
Yeah, you had it 40 minutes, so you had it majority of the game.
Yeah, I know. We kept getting first downs. You guys couldn't get off the field. I'm sorry about that.
And then your offensive coordinator got pissed and threw the clipboard.
Because Josh dirted the ball. There was, I mean, we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory like 3 times in that game. But,
and then your fans complained about the sun being too hot.
I mean, it was very hot. I was at the game. It was very hot. I mean, the way you guys built that stadium is criminal, but we'll move on. I also got I got to go with the slot corner, man. I mean, I just think that Taron Johnson is such a huge player. He makes plays in the run game. Whenever it's time to cover, whenever he goes into pass coverage, I mean, he's drawing guys like Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman. He's drawing some of the fastest, most athletic guys on the field, and he does an admirable job of covering those guys. And then when it comes to big plays, I mean, just ask Lamar Jackson what Taron Johnson can do. Ask Patrick Mahomes, because he's had game-ending interceptions on both of those guys. And then the safeties, I mean, that speaks for itself, man. Poyer and Hyde, man. I mean, I just have to smile, man. Like, those guys are so good, And I got to give a big shout out to Sean McDermott for coaching those guys up. If you know anything about Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde was a cornerback for Green Bay. Wasn't doing well there. They brought him in and switched him over to safety. And Jordan Poyer was getting cut by the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns. He couldn't crack the roster in the Cleveland Browns. He comes to Buffalo, gets coached up, and the guy's an all-pro, stretching out his career. So I think I like what as far as like a complete unit of a secondary. I love what the Patriots have, but I think we're just a little bit better. I just think we're just a little bit better. We've got a little more experience. We've got a little more depth, and I think we have a little more quality depth. So I got to give us the nod. Man.
The thing I will say about the Jets and the Patriots is, not to take away from the talent that they have, but part of the reason that their defenses are good is because of the products of their head coaches. So the Dolphins and the Bills don't necessarily live that way. But the Patriots, does that make sense? The Patriots and Jets do. Because it's like the way Bill Belichick coaches, he kind of brings the best out of everybody defensively, and the same thing with Robert Saleh. So he brings the best out of everybody defensively because that's his forte. Doesn't do that offensively. But where the Dolphins and Bills, they don't necessarily have that with their head coaches. So it's more their talent just shines through with their defensive guys. So that's why I give the nod to our defenses, because those guys just rely heavily on their head coach, and their head coach's defensive ability.
Yeah, and one more thing with the Jets. I like you guys as corners. But when we look at who was guarding who, DJ Reed was guarding number one the majority of the year, every single game. If you go and look at the actual coverage breakdown, DJ Reed is guarding the Jamar Chases, the Stephon Diggs, more than 60 to 70% of that game every single week. Sauce is guarding those guys sparingly, but not nearly as much as DJ Reed is. In my opinion, DJ Reed's the better corner. I don't think that Sauce is top 3 in the division, let alone the top corner in the league. But that's just my opinion.
Man, I'm gonna let you have that one. I do agree to the amount of how much DJ Reed guards certain receivers over Sauce. It's true. I watch the games. I see it myself. But I mean, just watching from the talent point and what Sauce does on the field, it's just like certain things you can't teach, and he was doing that all year one. It's only up from here, really. It's only up.
I pissed off Sauce Gardner after the college football playoff game when I interviewed him. I asked him like why they gave up so many rushing yards, and he got mad at me. So him and I have a little bit of history. And then in the draft, when he got drafted, I asked him how he's gonna fare covering Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and he didn't like that either.
I think Court said he coming back. His power just went out, so yeah, he'll be back in a minute. I don't know if he said hold it down. I don't know if he wants us to go into the next category or wait till he comes back.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm looking at the breakdown right now. We are past DB group, so next up will be best linebacker group. Okay. Who's got an All-Pro, guys?
Oh, are you talking about that dirty as shit Matt Milano guy?
Wow.
I hate that guy so much. He's so dirty. Like, he plays so dirty. I hate that guy so much. That's all I got to say about that.
Listen, you can't blame Milano for pushing Tua, and Tua falls like a toddler, bro. Like it was a push. It was a light push, and they flagged him for it. He falls like a toddler. That's his fault. But yeah, I mean, if it comes to linebacker group, I think Buffalo's is better because of the depth and speed, athleticism that we have. Like, we don't really have that thumper guy, but we do have some veterans that can come in and kind of be those bigger guys that lay down the lumber. AJ Klein, Terrell Dodson, those guys, they can come in and actually run fit. But Terrell Bernard is a former safety. Matt Milano is a former safety, and Dorian Williams, I believe, was a former wide receiver at one point. So they have those elite ability. They have that ability to get back in coverage and and really make things difficult in the passing game. So I'm going to give the nod to me. But John, what do you got for the Dolphins?
Yeah, I definitely can't go with us. I know that's our weak spot. I know Jerome Baker. I love Jerome Baker, but he struggles in pass coverage. I love Van Ginkel. I love guys like that, but we just don't have the horses when it comes to linebacker spot. We've been picked apart by tight ends before. It's going to happen again this year. Fully expecting that. That's why we're going to blitz. We're going to rush with that front four. Make sure we don't expose the linebackers. I got to go with you guys. You guys have really good linebackers. You have physical linebackers. Even as dirty as Matt Milano is, you just have much better linebackers than us by default because ours just aren't that good. So that doesn't mean that yours are great, but it just means that ours just aren't that good. So by default, I give you yours, but I just don't think the linebackers in this division collectively are that great. Like, I don't think the whole division, I don't think anybody really has that good of linebackers as is. So that's just the best.
I'm sorry, y'all, man. I had this technical. It's storming and it knocked my power out. I had to get reset up. So my bad. I'm back. Host is back.
It's good, man. It's good. We held it down for you. We're on linebackers now.
We on them LBs, man.
I got you. Hey, and I appreciate that. And guys, this is See, this is what happens when you got people that you can trust on your show. This is my baby, and these fellas, I trust them so much that they was able to hold it down without being toxic, and I ain't come back in the house first.
We ain't even kill each other.
See, and that's why I love this. This is why I do this, man. So I'm gonna give my take on the DBs because right before I think God, struck me down before I was going to say this, but man, I think the Bills got the best defensive back group in this division, and I think it's a tie. Close second with the Jets and with the Patriots. I just think those two teams, and the reason I say that is because Xavier Howard.
He gonna strike you down again.
Xavier Howard has injury issues. Jalen Ramsey over the hump. Needham is good. I'm not taking anything away from him. Javon Holland, I love him. Coming out of Pitt, you know what I mean, and how good he's been. He was a guy who wasn't highly touted. He came into the league and showed he can do this at a high level. The only issue that I have with that is the defensive back can only cover as long as front fours can pass rush. And we went through this already. The front fours of this division and for the Miami Dolphins they can't really push the pocket like the other three teams can. So it's kind of hard for me to give them that edge. I think the Patriots, it's going to be interesting to see what Christian Gonzalez can do under Bill Belichick. Definitely with his size and the versatility, it's gonna be fun to see. But y'all are linebackers. So what was the votes here?
I got it's 2 for the Bills so far.
Okay.
John and I went and we talked about our linebackers. He went with the Buffalo Bills as well.
Okay.
So it's up to you where we go next, man.
So J Mick, I'm gonna come to you with who do you got as your linebackers?
So I think John said it perfectly.
As the best linebacker.
So in this division, the linebackers are not exactly the strong point of the defense for any. And besides the Bills, the Dolphins and the Jets. To me, the linebackers aren't that great, but that's not the strong point of their defenses. For the Patriots, my linebacking core over the last couple of years have gotten younger and better, but I still can't say that they're better than the Bills. The Bills have an all-pro with Milano. They did lose a linebacker in free agency, but even losing a linebacker in free agency, I still like that room for them more than my team, the Dolphins or the Jets.
Okay. Damien, who do you feel like has the best linebacker group?
See, I feel like our linebackers aren't traditional linebackers. Really, they're more of like edge rushers. So we don't have the stand-up type guys, they'll go into pass coverage and stuff like that. The majority of our people we draft or sign for the edge. Jermaine Johnson, he kind of moves in between the two. Will McDonald, who we just drafted, he's more of an edge. He moves between the two. So most of our guys are going to be hand in the ground, coming off the edge. So I would definitely say the Bills as well, just because they have more traditional linebackers. We build our team around our D line and rushing the passer and things like that. So it's not really the same for us. That's what we pride our defense in. That's why we have our top defense in our respective way.
And I can see that. I definitely agree with y'all. I think the Bills have the best traditional linebacker group in this division. And the reason is because of what they're able to do, the versatility. When you look at that Bills team and that Bills defense, it goes as far as those linebackers go. Because that front line is going to feed off of them. That group, they bring the fire every single play. I don't care. And I think Milano is still your starter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Milano is he's scary. He's a beast, and he's don't people in the comments do not take this as I'm saying he's as good as this guy. Don't try to say I don't want to see on Twitter. Cortland said this dude is as good as this dude. No, I'm not saying that. He brings the same kind of attitude to the game as Ray Lewis, in my opinion. Head down, lunch pail. I'm gonna hit you in your mouth, and you're gonna have to fight me to get across the line. He brings that kind of edge to the game. I'm not saying Milano is as good as Ray. His approach to the game is similar. Okay, so I pick my words wisely because if this was a Twitter space, I'd have been muted and cut off about 4 different times by a million different people. I don't want to hear that's my show. I say what I want. But no, I like Milano, man. I like him a lot. I like what he brings to that just because of that. I got to give the Bills the edge. But y'all, so we ranked pretty much each division, each position group. We got a good overview of what this division is going to look like from a personnel standpoint. But now we're heading into training camps. We're heading into off-season programs, and teams are starting to gear up now for the Hall of Fame game and the start of the preseason, things of that nature. So naturally, as a guy who's in the media, I look at storylines, and it's going to be interesting to see the storylines that come out of the AFC East because of how many things and how the story behind this division and the history in this division. It's going to be interesting to hear these storylines. So I'm gonna come to J-Mick because he has a team that I feel like has a very interesting offseason and a very interesting season ahead of them. What are two storylines that we should be on the lookout for coming out of New England?
I mean, so for New England, I think the biggest storyline is the offense. I mean, obviously, like the offense had the struggles last year. Matt Patricia being the OC, his first time calling plays, he didn't necessarily do a good or even average job of that. So I think the biggest storyline for the Patriots is, can the offense rebound with hiring Bill O'Brien, and can Mac Jones get back to his form in his first year as a Patriots quarterback? So I like that's the biggest storyline for the Patriots, because if the offense isn't any better than last year, then I cannot expect the results to be any different in terms of the win total. Because I mean, they won 8 games last year. They had games that they could have won, games like the Raiders game and the Bengals game that they could have won, but they didn't do enough on offense to be able to accomplish that. And I mean, Bill was an OC when Tom Brady was a quarterback here as well. So I mean, it's a familiar environment for him as well. So I just think that's one storyline to watch. And then I think the second storyline for me is I mean, pretty much the defense/special teams. Defense was a top 10 defense last year. So, and I mean, they added some pieces through the draft. I mean, Gonzalez is a cornerback out of Oregon in the first round. Second round, Deion White from Georgia Tech. And the third round, Mapu in, I believe it was the middle of that round. So it's just trying to see if we can continue the strides that we made on defense last year. We were tied for third in the league in sacks. And then it's coupled that with the special teams, because our special teams unit was one of the worst in the league. I believe our punter in almost every punting matrix was in the bottom 5 of every single metric. I mean, our place kicker was pretty good, and I mean, Nick Folk, but Nick Folk was getting old. Therefore, we drafted a punter in the draft, and we also drafted a kicker in the draft as well. So that's something to watch out for. If the Patriots can improve on special teams, because like I said, we were one of the worst units in, special teams. Well, in terms of, punt coverage and like in punting as well. So I think those are two storylines to watch. And I mean, Bill's going to have his hand definitely on the defense and the special teams. And now that Bill O'Brien's on the offense, he doesn't have to look over the shoulder of the OC, kind of like what he did last year.
Cool. And I'm gonna throw one more, and I do this for each team. Is Matt Patricia is he still with the team, right?
No, he went to the Eagles, actually.
Okay, he went to the Eagles. Dang, never mind. Well, this still goes into that.
We are thankful that he has left the franchise. Let's just say that.
His key 5 no longer works.
Well, with Bill Belichick essentially still being one of the best defensive lines, if not the greatest defensive line we've probably ever seen, for doing that and definitely doing it this long, do you see this defense keeping the Cats like status quo, still being a top 10, and maybe the Patriots riding this defense to overachieve what many people think they will fall?
I mean, there's an interesting stat going around, right? So the Patriots have had a top 10 defense as far as points allowed for the last 10 years. So it's something that they've consistently done well, and it's something that I think they can continue. I mean, there are areas that they can get better in. Like I said, like they were tied for third in sacks on defense. But I mean, like an area that they can improve on is their like third down conversions, because there were some points in the season where they were letting offenses convert at a higher rate. So for me, like that's a point that they need to kind of work on, and in terms of getting off the field, because the defense was good last year, but there were, like I said, at certain points where they just could not get off the field, and those games like the Bills games. And the Bills got Josh Allen. He's a great quarterback, and they got a really good offense. But there were times in those two games where they could have got off on the field, like they got the Bills in the third and long, And I mean, Josh Allen would just run around and I mean, like he throw the Diggs because I mean, Diggs was pretty much killing Jonathan Jones last year. Like he literally was killing him. And so I mean, I just think that for this defense to get better, they're going to need to get off the field on third downs. And they're going to need to sack the quarterback at the same rate that they did last year as well. And I think that's something that Bill can do. I mean, Bill is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league, you know, in terms of calling defense. So I don't think, like, I'm not saying that we're going to go from like 9th in points allowed to 1st or 2nd. Like, we don't need to have the number 1 overall defense in the league. I mean, I just think that we need to, stay within the like 5 to 10 range.
Okay, cool. John, I'm gonna come to you next. What are 2 storylines we should watch coming out of this Miami franchise?
Yeah. Obviously, the first is, can Tua stay healthy? That's going to be the most important question coming for the Dolphins. And then something that I think that is overlooked because of the Tua stuff is, can the Dolphins' offensive line stay healthy? That's a big factor. That was something they struggled with last year, was the depth and the health. Now, they did get better. They added a lot of nice pieces to help them. They took Isaiah Wynn from the Patriots, which is an upgrade for the Dolphins. So they got better along the offensive line, but they got to stay healthy. Teron Armstead has to stay healthy. If the offensive line can stay healthy, not just because of it's easier to keep Tua healthy, but just because, like, that is one of the things that the Dolphins are predicated on is good offensive line play, getting the ball out quick and being able to not only get out quick, but take those deep shots. I mean, Tua, again, led the league in being able to throw the ball down the field. He threw it further than anybody else on a consistent basis. Like nobody was throwing it further than Tua. Like he was chucking it to Hill and Waddle downfield a lot. And so that's what they want to do. They also, again, if they aren't doing that, they want to get the ball out quick so Tua isn't taking shots. And you got to be able to protect on the offensive line. So that's something that the Dolphins really have to do, is stay healthy, and their offensive line play has to improve. And I think that they'll easily be the best team in the division if those 2 things can happen. Those are big ifs, though.
And so I got a question for you. My additional question to you is, if Tua Tagovailoa does not stay healthy this year, right? Let's just say he has the injury concern.
How many games does he miss?
Let's just say he misses somewhere around what he missed last year, +2, right? Do the Dolphins maybe go into next year and say, we're going to look in the 1st and 2nd round and maybe go with the Bo Nix or a Quinn Ewers, one of those bottom tier day 1, day 2 guys at the quarterback position?
It would depend on what injuries he has. If he has more concussions, then that changes things. But if he just hurts his finger, hurts his leg or whatever, that's a different story. But it's all about what happens, whether he gets concussions or not. That's the only thing that they're worried about. I think if he hurts his arm, hurts his hand or whatever, I don't think they're worried. I just think it's all about the concussions, because they're worried about whether because he's coming up on a contract year. I mean, that's coming up. So you want to know if you can pay him or not. And if he can stay healthy in his head, if he can stay healthy and not get the concussions, then you can pay him and you can keep him as your future guy. So yeah, I think that they'll keep him as long as he don't get more concussions.
All right. So Whittle, man, so we know what the Bills are, what the aspirations for the Bills team is. It's kind of been that way over the last 3 or 4 seasons. What are 2 storylines we should watch for this team going into the 2023-24 season?
The first storyline is the Buffalo Bills are not the divisional Buffalo Bills against the Bengals. That is not the team that you're going to see over this 2023 season. I know a lot of people like to look at one game and then extrapolate it over the rest of your franchise's future, but that game was one game. The Buffalo Bills are a much, much more dangerous team than what we saw, and teams will see that this year. I think the Bills are. I think the Bills have paid attention to the things that are being said online and things that are being said in the media, and I think that they're going to come out this season looking to prove a lot of people wrong about them. and their Super Bowl aspirations. The second one is a happy marriage. We got to see that marriage. We got to see that marriage between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs go back to what it was prior to all of the off the field, but prior to the Bengals game. Once they get on the field and teams start seeing them throw, back to their old shenanigans with the connection between Josh and Diggs, I think this stuff will go away. But it's something to talk about right now. It's going to be blown up and made to seem to be more than what it actually is. So that's another storyline that we're going to watch. And I think once Buffalo starts the season, 4-1, 5-1, whatever. After that, I think all of that goes away because it's about what we do in the playoffs, not really what we do in the regular season.
I got you. So I'm gonna ask you your question. My question for you is more or less on the back end of the season, going maybe into it is going into the 2024-25 season. If Ed Oliver in a contract season shows the potential that we thought he had coming out of Houston, do the Bills drop a bag in the lap of Ed Oliver, or do they let him walk?
Too late. They already paid him.
Oh, did they already pay him? I didn't see that.
Yeah. He already got an extension. It's about $17 million per season, so it's not crazy when you think about defensive tackles. It's a lot of incentives. His cap hit in year one is like $3 million. Yeah, it's super low. And there's a 2-year out built in there. So if he's not performing well after year 2, they can get out of it. There's a similar out built in Trey White's contract after this season. So if Trey White has another down year, I think that they probably cut ties with him. And if they do bring him back, they do bring him back at a smaller number.
So let me change that question because I completely missed that not when I was looking at the Bills information. I completely missed the extension. If Von Miller, right? Let's just say Von Miller. He's getting longer in the tooth. He can still get you some production. He's getting a little longer in the tooth. Do the Bills maybe move off of him next year and possibly go first round pass rusher next year?
I'm not sure that they move off of Von Miller. Von Miller had 8 sacks in 10 games last year. That's pretty good production. For a guy that at that time was 33 years old. He's 34 now. Rousseau had 8 sacks. AJ Epinesa had 6.5 sacks. And they just brought in Leonard Floyd, who over the last 3 years has averaged 9.5 sacks per game. So I think that they're going to be fine. I don't think that there's going to be a situation where they move off of Von Miller. Von Miller was brought here for a reason. He was brought here to get us to the Super Bowl. He was brought here to get us past teams like Kansas City and the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's a job that we have in front of us. I don't think that they move off of him. He does have an out built into his contract, but it's not after this season. It's after next season. And I don't think that they move off of him. I think that they let him ride out maybe the 4th or 5th year of his deal before they move off of him.
Cool. I appreciate that. So, Damian, last but not least, man, what are two storylines to watch for this New York Jets team? Because they're young, but they added some guys and some veterans. And so, like you said early in the show, it does seem like a Super Bowl or bust season for them. What are the 2 storylines that we should watch coming out of New York?
The first one I feel like would be, can we get over the hump of the promising season? I'm saying, like, go on a run.
Is he in the blender for y'all?
And then the second,
is
it cutting out? Yeah, my fault.
Cut out a little bit.
It's not.
Repeat that for us.
Okay. Well, what I was saying was the first thing I would be saying, looking into is, are we able to build off of last season and go on a run, make a deep playoff run? That'll be the.
Yeah, it's cutting out again. Dang.
Damn, it's raining bad out here, bro.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, it's raining bad. I think I should be good right now. But yeah, are we gonna re-sign Q? Or how much we gonna sign Q to? I feel like that's the main thing. Other than are we gonna get over the hump? Because we still haven't signed Quinnen. So I feel like that's the main thing that we would be looking into as well. Like, are they gonna hold off? Are they gonna do it? Will he hold out? Stuff like that.
So my question to you, my additional question to you, Damien, is I understand that Aaron Rodgers is now there. He's now you guys have a lot riding on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders. But do you come in next year? Do the Jets front office come in next year and say, we should look at a late first round, maybe second round guy to groom up under Aaron and maybe be in sort of a Jordan Love type of situation where in 2025-26, this guy now gets to start after learning from one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen?
What I think is that the Packers have control over our first round pick anyway. If he plays over, I think it's 70% of the snaps, they have control over that pick. So I would say maybe second, third round, maybe you look at that, but it depends on really how we do this season. I would really say, you could really hold off and try to get somebody like a Milton or something a little bit later or something like that from Tennessee or something like that. Nothing too crazy, but just somebody to throw up under him. But I probably wouldn't waste no high pick on him. We might have like some other needs, like more O-line depth, because we still trying to figure out if our O-line is going to be good enough to hold up for him. Because, he's getting older, and our O-line isn't as good as Green Bay's O-line. So that's just another, question mark on the season, really.
Okay. So, first of all, I got to appreciate these guys, man, because I don't watch a lot of AFC East football. So I'm kind of going off of just basic knowledge. But we get to go into the standings now. And this is where it gets good, because this is where it gets spicy. I'm going to throw mine out there. I'm going to explain why I have it the way I have it. So the way I have it is the Jets. I think the Jets can win this division. I think they're younger. I think Aaron Rodgers puts them over top. And the reason I say this is because with that defense, now this offense, you get Alan Lazard, you got Garrett Wilson, who I think is going to emerge. Randall Cobb, Corey Davis, Breece Hall could come back healthy. It's and like you said, even if this O-line just holds up, and they don't even have to be a top 10 O-line, they just a middle of the pack O-line. I think the ceiling for the Jets is 13 games. I think the floor is 9. But because of their ceiling, I got them winning the division. I got the Bills second. I think the Bills ceiling is 11 games. I think the floor is 8. The reason I say that is because I still do not trust the running backs behind the Bills. And that's always been a big knock for me with the Bills. I always felt like if he just had a running back, if Josh Allen just got a running back behind him, you're forced to be honest on defense. And I think in some way it's going to rear its ugly head. And the Patriots got rid of your boy for a reason. And it's because of Ramondre Stevens did run him out of New England, literally. But, the injury concerns and things of that nature, the down year, I got to see it in a Bills uniform outside of a Patriots uniform. And I got the Dolphins at 3rd because I feel like this division is going to be competitive. I got the Dolphins ceiling at 9 because I don't trust this defense. And I don't trust that Tua is going to stay healthy. I got the floor at 6. And again, it's just based on I do not trust Tua staying healthy, and I don't trust his defense.
What division do you pay attention to? The AFC South?
I pay attention to all football. I just don't watch a lot.
I can tell.
I don't trust the Dolphins defense, and I do not trust Tua. I just don't trust Tua. And what he showed me last year was what any quarterback that has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle will show you. I can get it out there to him. They somewhere down there, right? But this defense is kind of scary, and if you can't stop anybody, it doesn't matter how many points you score. And I got the Patriots finishing last. It's not a knock on the Patriots. I think this team could have 3 teams that go to the playoffs. Like it's possible. But I think the Patriots ceiling is 9 wins. I think their floor is 7. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a duke it out kind of season, for the Patriots. And the reason I say that is because Bill O'Brien is going to have to come in and he's going to have to see we're going to see if Mac Jones can make it work with Mike Gesicki, throwing the ball just to Mike Gesicki, because the receivers for New England, it's the reason why they're in the D-Hop sweepstakes. It's the same thing as my Titans. We're in the D-Hop sweepstakes because we need receiver help, right? These 2 teams need receiver help. And in a division that's got Trayvon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, and like I said, you got the zoo in Miami, you got to score points. And even though they're a top 10 scorer, like Jay Mick said, they're a top 10 scoring defense, the offense has to put points up, and that's kind of shaky. So we'll see how that plays out. But we're gonna see what the experts of this division say, because I'm just a guy, right? I'm just a floating head. I'm a talking head. That's what I do. So I'm gonna come to Jay Mick first. Jay Mick, how do you have this division falling? And what are the floor and ceilings for these teams?
Okay, so here's a little fun fact, right? The Patriots have not finished last in the division in 23 years. Let's say like 23 years we have not finished last. And I'm not about to project that we're going to finish last year. So that's just not what I'm going to do today. So first, I have the Buffalo Bills winning the division. I mean, I've heard a lot over the last month or 2 about their demise, and I just don't see it. Like, I don't. I mean, for a team that had a lot of injuries on defense, their quarterback had an elbow injury. I just think they come back this year healthier, and we saying all that, and they still won 13 games. So it's like, both their safeties were hurt. I mean, like Trayvon White was not 100% healthy. He's come back off that injury. I think he's gonna be a lot better this year. And I just don't see their demise as everybody else sees it. I mean, whether it be on Twitter Spaces or traditional media channels of them saying that the Bills ain't going to win. I just don't see it. So I got the Bills finishing second. First. In second place, I'm gonna. This was tough for me because it's between the Dolphins and the Jets. It could realistically hinge either way. I mean, because if Tua gets hurt, then there's a real possibility that the Dolphins could finish last. And if A-Rod is not the A-Rod that the Jets need, they can finish in last too. But I'm gonna go with the Dolphins here. I just think that they're going to build on their season. And then I do see the Dolphins making the playoffs. For the second year in a row. What that means is that I got the Patriots finishing third. We won 8 games last year. I think our floor is 8 games, and our ceiling, if everything goes right, we can win 10 games. And I'm saying everything from Bill O'Brien, being a great OC, to Mac Jones returning to his rookie year form and all that. All that would have to happen for them to win 10 games. And for me, as a Patriot fan, beating the Jets 14 to 15 straight times, I'm not gonna believe in, I'm not believing to the Jets until they show me. Like they gotta show me that they are worth the hype. They were definitely a lot better last year versus the previous year because they went from 4 to 7 wins. They definitely were a lot better. They had issues at the quarterback position, and they definitely improved with the quarterback position. But my issue with the Jets is their offensive line. Their offensive line wasn't good last year, and they're dependent on Dwayne Brown, who's 38, possibly going on 39. Their tackles were some of the worst tackles in the league last year. And so, they're dependent on that guy. And then they drafted a center in the draft, which as a center, it's a good center. I'm not disputing that. But, he's got to work with A-Rod, who's a veteran. And so I just don't know how that's going to work for them. And so, for me, there's an adjustment period because, their OC is new, their quarterback is new. So I just think there's an adjustment period. And me saying they're going to finish last is not me saying they're going to win 4 games. They could whoever finishes the AFC East in the basement could easily have 8 wins and still finish last. So that's the way I view it.
That's why I had it like the way I had it, because it was hard for me too. Because I'm like, each one of these teams had the possibility of winning 8 to 9 games, and that could possibly be last in the division. And it's so it's kind of crazy. But Damian, I'm gonna come to you next, man. So how do you have the AFC East shaking out?
I have us either in first or second. I'm gonna say best case scenario we first. Middle, like not worst case scenario, but like if it doesn't go as good as we think I think it could go, we go second. But like I feel like absolute worst we going third because the Patriots finishing last because they suck. Yeah, so
You beat your choice left there, though.
hey, it's cool. We moving on up. We got the schedule that we have isn't really hard. When you look at our schedule, right? I feel like I wouldn't say we gonna sweep anybody in the division this year, but we gonna split with everybody. I feel like it's either gonna be a split. We might sweep the Patriots, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It might be that type of year.
That's
we
a
ain't beat them.
order.
Yeah, hey, bro. We ain't won in 14 years. I feel like it's gonna be a comeback season this year, or
Hey,
14 games. I mean,
Bill
yeah.
Belichick has hated y'all ever since he turned the job down and went to New England. He's had
Hey.
y'all number.
Hey, we got all these primetime games for a reason, man. It's going to be big in the Big Apple this year. So, yeah, I feel like, I say ceiling about 12 wins, 12, 13. Because the only L's I really see that we could possibly have is really like maybe one to the Dolphins. We play the Eagles. The Eagles that's probably going to be an L. You look at the Bills game, we probably going to split one of them. I'm not saying we losing to the Patriots. And then you look at the Giants, Chargers, Falcons, Texans. That shit's sweet. Like Commanders, that shit's sweet. So I really think we got some easy. Well, not easy. There ain't no easy games and no free games in the NFL. But you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of those games are winnable for us, especially our home game. So yeah, we play the Raiders. Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of games we can win. So us first, Bills second, Dolphins third, Patriots fourth. And that's pretty much how I got it.
Have you seen your first 6 games?
Yeah, I seen them. Now I seen them. It's Buffalo. I'm not ever saying we losing to Dak Prescott, bro. Dak sucked. We got New England. We taking y'all off the map. We got Kansas City. That's gonna be a tough one. Yeah, taking us off the map.
Can I ask you, we revisit this when the Jets are like a dumpster
1-5?
fire?
Bro, you wish
when they're 1-5 after the first 6.
In their first six games, I got them 3-3. Worst case
No.
scenario.
I want to revisit this when they're a dumpster fire. I want to see what Damien got to say when they're a clown show. I want to know what he has to say.
Who are the 2 wins against? I'm sorry. I got to hear this one.
The 3, bro, we're going to beat Dallas. Oh, you want to know what he said? All right, no, who you had, Cortland?
First game of the year. So week 1, y'all got the Bills. I got that as an L. That's a loss in my opinion.
Then they getting sweat because they not beating us in Buffalo, so y'all getting sweat.
I think y'all split. But I think that's an L. The Cowboys, they can win that. They can win that game. I think Dak Prescott gets exposed by his defense and Robert Saleh. The Patriots, I think they win. I think they beat the Patriots at home. The Chiefs, they're gonna take that as an L. They're gonna take that one on the chin. And then I think that's week 3, no, week 4. So week 5, y'all got the Broncos. They're gonna tear the Broncos with asshole.
With Sean Payton at quarterback?
I don't look. I'm sorry. The Broncos got to show me. They got to show me because last year there was a whole lot of talk, and I was like, ugh. And then the Eagles, I think they can duke it out with the Eagles. The Eagles, I think they can duke it out with the Eagles, and that's a toss-up game because that's at home. That's in the Meadowlands, so that's at MetLife. So I think they can. So like I said, worst case scenario, they finish third. They finished 3. No, best case they 3-3. Worst case they 2-4 after 6. So it's.
I mean, I think the worst case they could be 1-5. To be honest, that's the worst.
That's crazy.
No, I mean that's
best case is a 1-5.
Worst case.
You said worst case. Oh, okay. I was like,
because the thing about it is, it's early in the year. So when you look at early in the season, like I said, that Bills game that could go either way because that's week 1. That could go either way. I feel like the Bills are going to come out on fire, but because they always do. But we've also seen the Bills come out and and look
I mean,
kind
the
of shaky
Bills
too.
did play the Rams opening night last year, and they murdered the Rams. So
That's what I'm saying.
you
They come out, they come out dogging. So, but then when you look at, like I said, the Broncos got to show me, and the Eagles, it could go either way because the Eagles have this tendency to play down the competition at times. So, and if they
Eagles
feel
also
like
lost a lot. They lost a lot of
yeah,
key free agents and coaches.
the Eagles would be perfectly fine.
So I mean, they can be on paper. They're the best team in the league on paper, but we got to see it. So, but yeah, that's how I have it. But I'm gonna come to John next. John, how do you have the AFC East shaking out? And why are the Dolphins not winning the division?
Well, they're winning the division. Because I'm just going under the presumption that they're healthy, right? Because that's what all of us go under the presumption of. I mean, if any of our teams are like not healthy, they're probably not winning this division because it'll be a competitive division. So I'm going under the presumption that we're healthy, and I see 13 games. I know it's a tough schedule playing the AFC West. It's not easy. But Dolphins don't have to go. They don't got to go to Kansas City. That's a win for them. That's a positive. You don't got to go to Arrowhead, and you get to go to Germany as a road game. That's a positive for the Dolphins because you avoid going to Kansas City. It's a neutral site. So I think the Dolphins win 13. I think Buffalo wins 11. I just think Buffalo takes a little bit of a step back to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins finally take this division. Give me the Patriots third, and then the Jets. The Jets will win 7 games only because they're going to feed off those bottom teams. But they're going to start off 2 wins at best. They'll probably beat Buffalo opening night because 9-11 in New York. They probably win that game. You know, all the hype and stuff opening night. They got Aaron Rodgers. I think that they steal one there. But I think they get stomped by Dallas. I mean, Damien, you forget every time the Jets play New England takes it to them. Like they always pick them off.
Bro, it gotta stop sometime, man. It gotta stop at one point, bro. At what point will it end?
Too, though. You say the same thing last year, and it didn't stop.
It hasn't stopped. So until it stops, I'm not going to believe it stopped. You lose that, you get mollywopped by Kansas City. Denver, you might win. Philadelphia mollywops you. You might beat the Giants because that's technically a home game. You're at them. Chargers will beat you. Raiders are easy. Buffalo's going to stomp you. You'll get swept by us. And then Falcons, Texans, Washington, and Cleveland. Those are all easy. And then you go to New England to finish your year, like 7 wins at best. Your offense last year was really bad. You had an aging Aaron Rodgers. You said it yourself. You don't know about the offensive line. I don't believe in Alan Lazard. I don't believe in Randall Cobb. I love Garrett Wilson, what he did. He surprised me. I didn't think he would be as good as he was, but he was really good. Again, Breece Hall, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. You guys are 25th in running the ball last year. Your offense wasn't very good, and your defense has to hold teams to 18 points a game again. I don't think you can hold teams to 18 points a game again. I think that number goes up to like 21. If it goes up to 21, you lose a couple more games, close games, defensive games. So you win 7 games at best, but I'm going to give you 6. I don't think the Jets are that good. I just don't buy Aaron Rodgers at 40.
So you say you really think we take a step back, John? I just don't believe
John,
it.
I just don't believe in the
upgrade,
Jets.
With the upgrade at quarterback, you bring in more offensive weapons. The defense essentially got better because these guys are a year older and more seasoned. It's not like they got older.
And Rodgers is a diva. How long until he starts crying? If you're 2-4 or 1-5 to start the season,
well, I mean, John, but
how long until he starts crying?
But John, we got what ifs because we can say the same thing about Tua Tagovailoa. How long until he's throwing gang signs in the middle of the field again? Like we don't know.
Oh my God.
Well, so here's the thing about the Jets. You got to admit though, they traded for what was his name, Chuck Taylor or whatever his name was.
Chuck Clark.
Chuck Clark, yeah. From the Ravens, and like if you talk to Ravens fans didn't even like that guy. Like they really speak bad on him as
they liked him when he was knocking tight ends over the dome.
I mean, when they traded him this particular offseason, like I know a lot of Ravens fans on Twitter, they were not disappointed, bro.
Miss Gina wasn't disappointed.
Even if you take Aaron Rodgers like out of the equation, your skill players last year weren't very good. Even with Garrett Wilson having a nice year, You were a bad offense last year. You were 25th in running the ball. Obviously, we know the quarterback, but your skill players just didn't step up. Your offensive line wasn't great. So we expect your team to just go from 7 wins with Aaron Rodgers, just boost all the way up. Like, they have
John,
no
Bro,
idea how to
but
win.
you look, I would say, John, when you look at the games we lost because of quarterback play, Aaron Rodgers, you swap him in, it's just like better outcomes.
It
I
doesn't
feel
work
like it's
that
as
way,
simple as
bro.
that.
It doesn't work that way.
But here's
Teams
the
are
Our
gonna play
defense-
you.
in
Teams will play you
their
differently
defense,
now.
in the Jets' defense, their 2 starters that they had last year ranked 37 and 46 of qualified quarterbacks. They didn't even rank in the top 32. So this is
Isn't that at all an indictment? Isn't that at all an indictment on Robert Saleh as a head coach not being able to
No,
get
that's
the
an
most out of
indictment
offense?
on the bus that you drafted at number 2 overall in Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
and his backups not
but
being
your
very
head
good.
coach has to be able to develop him at some point, and he
Robert
hasn't
Saleh's
been able to develop.
Robert Saleh's a defensive coach. That's like
You're the
saying,
head coach.
That's like
You're a head
saying, hold on. That's like saying that Bill Belichick should have developed a quarterback. That's like saying Mike Vrabel should have
I
developed
think
a
he
quarterback.
did develop Tom Brady.
No,
I think he did
No,
make.
he didn't.
I think he
struck
did.
gold.
Did that.
He struck gold.
But he was the one. Like, he was the one that made that team go. He was the one to help make
Hold
that
on,
team.
John. He struck gold. Just like
Yeah,
the San
that was
Francisco
Josh
49ers.
McDaniels, bro.
Like the San Francisco 49ers struck gold with Brock Purdy. You don't find guys like that every single day.
But
and you have
Bill
to develop
Belichick
them.
always found Kevin Falk. He always found guys like that. That's Bill Belichick year in and year out.
That's not
finding
developing
Kevin
them, though.
Falks.
That's being a guy who knows a draft board and knows how to draft players. But that's not developing those guys. Those guys were developed by Bill O'Brien and Frank Weiss and other guys that were the offensive coordinators of those teams. So to say that Robert Saleh should have
point, Cortland,
to say that, but I'm saying to say that Robert Saleh should have developed Zach Wilson, who I even said it. Zach Wilson was not a good quarterback when he was at BYU. He was drafted 2nd overall based off of intangibles.
But at
Nothing
some point,
else.
20 years of Bill Belichick doing that with no-name guys, you have to give him the credit for doing that.
He had 18 seasons of arguably the greatest quarterback to ever play football.
But he wasn't the greatest quarterback his first couple Super Bowls. He was a game manager. And Bill Belichick was able to get the most out of the Troy Browns.
This is not a top. They also had top 5 defenses. They also had top 5 defenses, John.
But
You gotta give Brady. You gotta give Brady credit for his offseason work. I mean, it's not like Brady was just sitting. It's not like Brady was just sitting on his hands during the offseason. He was
but he was a
game
manager the first couple Super Bowls.
Right. Once he learned, once Josh McDaniels created that offense around him, and
you gave him Randy Moss, yeah.
No. Even before that, bro, with Deion Branch, he was throwing it around.
You got to give Bill credit for hiring the right guys to
exactly.
like that. That's where you give him the credit. I'm not giving Tom Brady working out in the offseason and getting better, but I do give him credit for hiring guys like Charlie Weiss and Bill O'Brien. And
I said Frank. I'm sorry. I meant Charlie Weiss. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I meant Charlie Weiss. But here's the thing too, and I'll give Bill Belichick credit here. There's something to be said about having a veteran presence on your team to teach a guy the ropes. And Tom Brady may never say it, but Drew Bledsoe, even though he got hurt that year, don't think Drew Bledsoe wasn't on the sideline coaching Tom Brady up when he was coming out. So and Drew Bledsoe was nothing to cough at. He was damn good when he was in the league before he got hurt. So we got to give that credit too. And that's why I asked Damian earlier about maybe you go and draft a 2nd round guy, because like I said, I got like 7 to 10 guys that are 1st round to 2nd round draft grades at the quarterback position in this upcoming draft. And I've done my homework on these guys, and all of them are damn good. Some of them are going to be starters, some of them are not. Some of these guys may have to sit for a year or two. But if you have a guy to learn from Aaron Rodgers, I don't care how much of a diva Aaron Rodgers is, you can still, just from his preparation and what he does in the offseason to the way that he processes the game, a rookie is going to come in and be able to learn from that. And that'll put the Jets in a better position with their quarterbacks. Zach Wilson, they said Zach Wilson looked 10 times better in training camp, just learning from Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to be the starter going forward? Probably not.
But do you really believe that, though?
What?
That, he looks 10 times better this season than this.
That's not saying a lot, Jay. J-Mick,
I just don't.
a second overall draft pick that couldn't throw the ball, and hit the Pacific Ocean, let alone let alone hit a receiver. Saying he looks 10 times better is saying, okay, he looks like a 6th round pick versus an undrafted guy.
The thing I will say is, I mean, remember Tua looked lost when Brian Flores. It's the same position. Brian Flores was there, and he's a defensive guy and had no idea how to run the offense. When Tua was there with him, he looked lost. As soon as he got Mike McDaniel, everything changed. Like, he was able to get the most out of him. He was able to develop him. Like, that's what you need in a coach that can have the defense running, but also have the offense running. I just don't like that in Robert Saleh, is that, yeah, he's great defensively, but he knows nothing about his offense. And it's like he's a defensive coordinator playing head coach. And I just don't like that. You got to know.
Well, he is a defensive coordinator that is now a head coach, but
right.
They do
but
have
that's what I'm saying. I think they're limited because of him not knowing offense.
I mean, but I think the difference between Zach Wilson and Tua. Tua has pedigree from college, bro. Like, he played at Alabama. Like, he played on the big stage. He performed quite well in college.
I'm just saying a head coach that just specifically is defensive oriented and has no idea how to develop the other side.
I get your point, but I think the point I'm trying to make is that Zach Wilson versus Tua in college, they're not even on the same platform. Like, it's not closely similar. So that's why I think Tua always had it in him. He just needed kind of like an offensive minded coach to push him in the right direction. Versus Zach Wilson, the games I seen him play at BYU, he wasn't that great to me. And I knew the Jets was going to pick him at 2, and I knew he was going to be a failure.
Yeah, I said he was going to be bad when they picked him, but
I knew it too, bro.
My thing is they got Nathaniel Hackett, and as people are going to look at last year with the Broncos and say, well, it's Nathaniel Hackett. Well, I mean, he was offensive coordinator in Green Bay from 2019 to 2021. Aaron Rodgers had some damn good seasons as a quarterback when he was offensive coordinator. He now comes to New York. Believe me, he'll be able to develop a quarterback in that New York system. Definitely with the guy that he coached to some pretty good seasons. So we can't keep talking about these quarterbacks. We got to get to my guy Whittle and the Bills, representing the Bills, man. I pretty much know where you're gonna go with who winning the division. How you got the rest of the division shaking out?
Okay, I got the Bills. The ceiling. If everything goes right, man, you're talking about a 14-15 win team.
Okay.
The floor, I think the Bills don't lose more than. I don't think the Bills finish lower than 11 wins. I think 11 wins is the floor for the Buffalo Bills. Second place, I have the New England Patriots winning the tiebreaker over the Miami Dolphins. I have both teams finishing 10-7. And I have the Patriots winning the tiebreaker. I have the Patriots winning the tiebreaker and going to the playoffs. I think that defense is excellent. I think that the addition of smaller, faster, of lighter, faster guys across the middle of that field, especially at the safety and linebacker position, they already get after the quarterback. But you add a guy like Marte Mapu. If you go back and watch this guy is 6'3", 215, 220 pounds. He flies all over the field. His RAS score is out of this world. Their safeties are excellent. Peppers, Duggar, and Adrian back there. Those guys are excellent. I absolutely love their corners. Absolutely love their corners. Those guys can cover in man, and they can cover in man. They all tackle well. And I just think that defensively, they're going to make it very, very difficult. I think they're going to win a lot of games, 21-16, 20-17, 20-12, 20-13, things like that. And offensively, they've got the best offensive line in the division. They've got the best running back in the division. And they also picked up another tight end. I'm not counting Gesicki. They have a couple of tight ends, but they're going to go 12 personnel. They're going to make teams pay. So I like Devontae Parker as a guy that can win contested catches down the field. I mean, I know you don't like him because you know.
I don't trust that guy. I don't understand how they gave him a contract extension.
Yeah,
The guy is as soft as Sharon,
He
dude.
was
he's got
solid
a
last
great.
year.
He was solid last year, and he's got a great catch radius. He's 6'4", long arms. The he's a pro. He's been playing the league for a long time now. I like Devontae Parker. I like him.
And they added Juju Smith-Schuster, right?
Juju Smith-Schuster is a guy who can get open. He can get open in a phone booth. You add another guy like Tyquan Thornton, which they picked up in the draft, who has straight line track speed, will take the top off of a defense. And they still have Kendrick Bourne. Like, they have a perfectly built complementary wide receiver room. Not a lot of stars. They don't have any stars. They don't have a lot of big names, but they have guys that can just play football. I think Kendrick Bourne is a Swiss Army knife at wide receiver. I think he can give you production in the slot. I think you can line him up on the outside and he can win. He's physical at the catch point. I love Kendrick Bourne. So I think that they're going to utilize that play action. They're going to go back to what you saw rookie year of Mac Jones, who I think learned a lot last season through some of the mistakes that the Patriots made offensively. And I just think that they're going to run the football. They're going to get in 12 personnel, and they're going to make you commit to a certain style of defense. If you come out there heavy trying to stop Ramondre in between the tackles, then they're just going to hit you over the top with passes to guys like Juju or Devontae or Tyquan down the field. And if you go light, they're just going to hand the ball off, and they're going to win games, and they're going to keep your offense on the sideline. So I like them a lot. I like the Dolphins roster. I do like the Dolphins roster. I like the additions that they made. I just think that you're throwing a lot of gumbo in the pot and expecting it all to work immediately. I think Mike McDaniel is an excellent coach. I think he's an excellent offensive mind. I think outside of his initial play script at the start of the game and right after the half, outside of that, he needs to work. He really needs to work. I saw a lack of a clear focus of what he wanted to do outside of that initial play script late in games, and I think that hurt them. I think he'll be better, but at the end of the day, it's just his second year, and that's a lot. And there are a lot of expectations on him. Also, while managing big personalities like Jalen Ramsey, Christian Wilkins, and Tyreek Hill, and you got to worry about your quarterback, who's got to stay healthy, and they didn't really do anything on that offensive line to protect them. But I still like they put up 1 million points on the Ravens in the fourth quarter. Like, you can't scoff at that. As far as the Jets, I got the Jets finishing with 8 wins. I think the initial part of that schedule is absolutely brutal. I think they start 1-5, 2-4 at best, and that one of those 2 wins has to be a division win. But then even after you get out of that initial group, you're still facing teams that are going to give the Jets trouble, because collectively the Jets have the worst group of offensive tackles in the NFL. You can look this up. According to PFF, offensive line rankings,
Makai coming back, man.
Makai hasn't played meaningful snaps on an NFL field.
He just hasn't shown it yet. He hasn't.
But he's looking in the best shape that he's been since being in the league.
We hear that every year.
We heard that last year too, and then he stubbed his toe and he was out for the rest of the year. Dude, we're done. Like, I'm sorry. They have the worst group of tackles in the NFL. It's not debatable. Their tackles are worse than every other team in the NFL. If you go down this schedule, you can look at every single team that they play. I can point out 15 games where they're going up against at least 2 very good to elite pass rushers.
Matt Judon twice a year is not easy.
Matt Judon twice a year. Von Miller.
It's not easy.
What the Bills have, Jalen Phillips twice a year. Jalen Phillips is an absolute dog. Yeah. And I still think that they go back and get Melvin Ingram, or they go grab another guy to help out with the depth. Then you got the AFC West. You got Chris Jones. You got Bosa, Mac, Jones,
Max
Crosby. Then you go to the AFC East. You got the Eagles. You got Micah Parsons. You got the Giants with Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence and Azeez Ojulari.
Don't forget about Washington. Washington's
nothing but
front
first
is
round talent on their front
yeah.
four. Then you go with the Browns. They got Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith. I mean, they're facing a bunch of edge rushers, and they have terrible tackles. So I don't know, man. I mean, I love Aaron Rodgers. I think, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play the game of football, but you got to be able to protect him. He needs time because you're not going to be looking at 3rd and 5 every single time you get on the field. Sometimes you're going to be looking at 3rd and 15. You might be looking at 3rd and 20 if you get a couple of holding calls or bad plays. And at 3rd and 20, what do? You got a 40-year quarterback with a 38-year-old left tackle, and you're going up against the cream of the crop when it comes to edge rushers. I just think that the Jets are going to be in trouble. I think that they're going to be better than what they were last year, but I think that this schedule just does them no favors. I think this is a really tough year. But I think eight to 9 wins for the Jets this year. Last year means like if you take that and put it in the machine and look at it, what it means for this past season, that's like an 11-win team. So I think the Jets are going to move in the right direction, and I think the year after this year, the Jets will make a move for the playoffs.
Something with Rodgers as well. We didn't mention. I just want to throw in there. Bread and butter for him is the back shoulder throw, and that takes time to develop that. We saw that he tried that with these young guys in Green Bay, and they did not they weren't veterans, so they didn't understand that he loves that back shoulder. They didn't understand where to be. I think it's going to take time for them to develop that in New York because that's his bread and butter. He loved that with Devontae Adams. He loved that with all the guys that he's had, the veterans in his career. And I think you'll probably see more of that work when they start facing the bad teams the second half of the season. But the first 6 games, you're probably going to see a lot of errant throws because they'll look bad, but it's actually just him trying to have timing with these guys, and it takes time to develop what him and Devontae Adams had. So I think it'll take time, and you'll see more accurate Rodgers second half of the year when they play the bad teams.
Corley, it's hard to simulate. It's hard to simulate game speed in practice. So
yeah. It's hard as a receiver. I'll say this: as a receiver, it was hard changing quarterbacks because you might run a route. Let's say you run a 15-yard dig, and your quarterback may say, "Hey, instead of releasing this inside, I want you to give him a little wiggle, release it outside because I'm gonna put this ball on your upfield shoulder, right?" So now you're used to running with this guy, but here's where the growing pains kind of with a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Yes, there's going to be growing pains in chemistry, right? But what's going to get better for them is you're going from Zach Wilson, like I said, you have to adjust. You look at a lot of the catches that Garrett Wilson had to make last year, a lot of the plays that Corey Davis had to make last year. They had to adjust. They had to go and make, athletic, one-handed, diving, all kinds of crazy angles. The one thing Aaron Rodgers does better than any quarterback in the NFL still is put the ball where you can get it, and only you can get it. And one thing that Aaron Rodgers does well, and he still does better than any quarterback in the NFL, is the free play. I'm going to get to the line. I'm a hard count. I'm going to get you to jump because you're scared of what I can do. I'm still Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to get you to jump, and as soon as you jump, I got speed on the outside now. It's not just Christian Watson. It's Corey Davis. It's Alan Lazard. It's Randall Cobb. It's Uzama. One of these guys gonna get open on that free play, and he gonna chuck at Joker. He can still chuck it 60 yards. Something's gonna happen. So again, I'm not completely out on the Jets. It's a new year. It's a what have you done for me lately league. So we'll see. Like I said, I think the Jets can win this division. I think it's gonna be a tightly contested division. I don't think any team in this division is bad. This is not like other divisions in the league where this division is there's one team that's better than everybody else, and then everybody else is kind of scrambling for second place or third place. This is a team that easily could have four playoff teams. If the Jets and the Patriots and the Dolphins were in any other division outside of the AFC West, you know what I'm saying? They're probably a playoff team. So it's one of them kind of divisions, man. It's gonna be really interesting to see. Like I said, it's fun. This is a fun division. And this is why I love having these 4 voices because y'all all ride it out for y'all team, but y'all also bring y'all also, are very unbiased when it comes to certain situations. And I think y'all can all say, everybody on this panel can say that this is not going to be just a rough shot through, barring injury, right? Or something crazy. And I will say this. I did. That's the reason why I did what you're saying, Whittle, about the Patriots. And DeAndre Hopkins, as much as I'm praying for the Patriots' downfall in this situation, they could still get D-Hop, which could flip this whole thing on its head. Because then you're talking about Juju Smith-Schuster and Kendrick Bourne and all those, and Javar, and Parker, and then adding D-Hop in that with Gesicki and Ramondre Stevenson and that defense. And you're talking about a team that could possibly win the division and not just finish second or third or whatever. So
gotta have a quarterback to be able to throw the ball.
Mac can do that. Here's the thing: I'm not going to sleep on Mac Jones.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, people forget that our tight end one is Hunter Henry. Like people
That's
forget
what I'm saying, bro. Like Hunter Henry like that when he's on the field.
So,
when he's on
Mac
the field.
Jones lost the job to Bailey Zappi. Like, come on, man.
He didn't lose the job.
Come on,
he
now.
got
lost
hurt.
the job to him.
He got hurt.
Then he got
benched.
You can't lose your job to injury.
He got
man.
benched in the middle of a game for Bailey Zappi.
He was
got benched because that was his first game back from a high ankle sprain. He wasn't playing well.
He had the ankle injury last year. He got
hurt. I mean, it wasn't because he was bad. It was because he was hurt. He came back too soon.
He couldn't plant. I mean, like you can look at that game and show he couldn't plant on that ankle. Like he tried, but that shows the man got heart. And I like Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. Like he was one of the guys that if y'all go back and look at my draft coverage, I said it, and people thought I was crazy. I said Bill Belichick gonna break status quo, and he's gonna take a quarterback in the first round, and it's going to be Mac Jones. People thought I was crazy for saying that.
No, I knew that was gonna happen. I was kind of hoping it didn't happen, but I knew it was gonna happen.
I said it because I was like, Bill Belichick was something different.
But I'm glad they didn't get Justin Fields.
Oh, it almost happened though.
And that was Justin Fields, but I mean, like the Bears traded up right in front of us and got him, so it wasn't.
Yeah, it almost happened. It was almost there. But man, that's the division standings, man. I appreciate y'all fellas for coming through. This has been the AFC East edition of the NFL Roundtable for the halftime show. I'm gonna go around the room, get these brothers so these brothers can tell you whether you can find them. If they're working on anything. I'm gonna start with Whittle, man. Tell us where we can find you. If you're working on anything, if you got a brand that you're trying to get out there, use this platform, man. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you for having me, Cortland, man. I appreciate it. Thank you all for partaking in this, man. This was great. I had a lot of fun. You can find me on Twitter right now. I'm about to jump on this Threads thing as well, so you can find me at the same thing, man. At Whittle2K. Hit me up. We talking ball. We talking ball. We talking sports. Period. Basketball, football, whatever. And I am actually working on a couple of podcasts right now. One is going to be strictly Bills related content, and then the other one is going to be just a general football NFL content with 3 other gentlemen. We are still in the planning process of these projects, but the Bills podcast is going to be called Coast to Coast. I live in Jersey. My co-host lives in California, and we're both big Bills fans, and both actually from the state of New Jersey. So that's going to be coming soon. We're going to try to get that kicked off during this season. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's where you can find me, man. And Cortland, once again, thank you for having me.
Oh man, no problem, man. This ain't gonna be the last time I have y'all on the show for sure. Y'all already look. I run my show like a house, right? Once you at the house the first time, you are no longer a guest, right? This is home. So, John, I'm coming to you, man. Shout out to John because John got me on before I started this show. I was on the sports arena with him and my guy Eric Wilson, who we'll see next week. So I appreciate John a lot for even coming through and showing his face because he's famous. But where can we find your work, man?
Yeah, I hit you with the follow Whittle on I just hit you with the follow. And by the way, hit me up. We'll talk more. Yeah, you can follow me Sideline Sports Network. We're on streamtv.com. We have a 24/7 channel on there where we run our shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're on the NFL, our Tuesday show, Sideline Sports flagship show. Is on the NFL Alumni Network, NFL Alumni Media. So you can check us out on there. That's run by Gus Farrat. They have shows like not LaDainian Tomlinson, Lawrence LT is on there. He has shows. Amon Green has shows. Anthony Munoz, like a whole bunch of NFL alumni have shows on the NFL Alumni Media. Our shows on there as well. You can follow us on Sideline Sport 1 on Twitter. Check out our YouTube, Sideline Sports. You'll find us on there. You'll see my logo behind me. We cover, you can find us at all the events. Cortland, you and I were at, a bunch of the events, draft and Super Bowl and all that stuff. So you can find us basically any of those places. We'll be in Cooperstown and we'll be at the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well, covering those events coming up. So that's just our little list. So yeah, that's where
I'm hoping I can make it there, man, because that's huge. That'll cover my big four.
I look forward to seeing Zach Thomas get inducted.
Oh man, I can't wait. It's a long time
weeks,
coming.
I'm excited.
Long time coming. That dude should have been there. And so, hey, and when I get there, I'm gonna talk to the Hall of Fame, man. I don't know why London Fletcher ain't got in yet. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. We'll meet up. We'll meet up in Kent.
And Steve.
They ain't let Steve in. You know that.
No, they need to let Steve in. I don't want to hear that. We gotta get Steve in there. But number 9 need to be in the Hall of Fame. We need the bust in there. But J-Nick, I'm coming to you, man. Where can they find you? What you working on? Floor is yours.
And thanks for having me on the show. I mean, it was lots of fun. You can find me on Twitter. Same name, J Mick. I mean, I be in a lot of different sports spaces, morning, afternoon, evening. I be chopping up in the general spaces. So yeah, that's there. I mean, I got a couple things that I got in the works. I'm talking to a couple people on. I mean, nothing finalized, but I mean, we trying to work on it and we trying to finalize it before the season starts so we can kind of get it out there. I mean, if I'm on the show again, I mean, I should be able to give you more, things on that as well. So yeah.
I ain't gonna be no if, man. I'm telling y'all, when I'm gonna jump in the DMs and be like, hey, I need you to be available such and such and such a day, and we're gonna be in there because we be in spaces too much for us to not be talking on the platform. So, but Damian, man, last but not least, man, what you working on? Where can they find your work? You know what I mean? Go ahead, platform is yours.
Hey, first off, thanks for having me on here, bro. It's nice meeting all of y'all, really. It was like, out of nowhere where I got tagged. They were like, hey, they looking for a Jets fan. I'm like, hey, you found the right guy. So, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm a gamer. That's what I do. I play games. I'm on Twitch. I'm on Kick, all that. You can follow me, Damien to go with 2 T's on Twitter. I got all my links. I got my YouTube, my Twitch, all that. So I play all types of games, Madden, 2K, all that stuff. That's pretty much my forte. I talk sports. I play sports. Like that's my thing, bro. So y'all trying to find me, that's where I be at.
For sure. I appreciate, man. Again, I appreciate all of y'all for coming through. Everybody on this chat has either interacted with me in real life or on Twitter Spaces. I've been packed up. I've packed people up. It is what it is. I love doing this. This is my dream. And everybody on this panel has facilitated that and had a hand in it. And I appreciate y'all, man, from the bottom of my heart for coming on the halftime show. Y'all can find me at DC Griffey on Twitter and Instagram. Be on the lookout for the hype videos. Be on the lookout for promo material. Be on the lookout for player interviews, articles from the 3-point conversion. Also, go on to 3pointconversion.com. Support my work and as well as the other illustrious writers that are on there. Raphael Haynes, Danny Thompson, and everyone else. Also, I'm not on there officially. But I'm affiliated in my own little way. I like to say that I'm the unofficial fifth host of the Sports Arena. So follow John and Eric Wilson and Ray J. Lynn and all those guys over there at Silent Sports as well. Go on their YouTube channel. My face is on there sometimes. So
yeah, come on there again and talk all crazy like you did last time.
I ain't got no problem. You'll hear enough of the word. But also, Tune in next week, same time. NFC East. It's gonna get crazy. I got Ashley Baker. I got Eric Wilson. I mean, we got some. I got Candy Waller. I got some personalities for next week. Y'all thought this was crazy, and this is the longest episode of the halftime show NFL Roundtable. It's gonna get wild with them. AB and Eric, two Eagles for Eagles. I mean, even if you just tune in for the Eagles and the Cowboys back and forth, y'all gotta get there. Y'all gotta be there.
Eric don't like the cat. He does not like Dallas.
Y'all gotta be there. See,
I'm gonna be there for sure, bro.
The AFC East was civilized compared to what that's gonna be next week, man. But like I said, same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Be here, NFL Roundtable. We're talking NFC East. I appreciate y'all all for tuning in. I appreciate you fellas for giving me 2.5 hours of your time. This has been the halftime show with your boy Cortland Griffin. We signing out. Peace.